Discord. No.
Yo, everyone. Let me just make sure that we're live. I'm going to set a little thing here.
Share Discord. We'll put it in Khalil's corner.
Here we go. All right, we are live. We've got a few people in. We'll give it a minute or so. We'll give it a few minutes to get a few people in. Here with War Horse, the Khalil Glazer himself. Just bear with me a sec. I'm just going to set this up.
I've just sent my the link to everyone.
All right, lovely. I'll do the same thing in just a sec.
Perfect. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Oh my god! Perfect. Oh my god, dude, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm nervous, you know. This is a little bit shaky. I'm a little different, man. Feature on someone else's channel.
Well, you know, I mean, it's kind of been a long time coming, man. I mean,
it has.
I've been here since Left, Right, Good Night. You know, I don't want to,
boom.
You know, I mean, people. You know, I'm a War Horse. Oh, I'm an OG, man. I was there way before. I actually remember I told you when you hit 1,000, you need to do the speedos.
Yes, you did. You were the founding idea of the speedos.
Yes.
I'm
so
glad
you can all thank me that you got to see War Horse wearing his speedos, because that was my idea. All that time ago.
How embarrassing it was, you know, on what was it, UFC 320? Because I remember that morning I'm going to show up in my speedos for the Khalil versus Yuri fight. I'm going to do it. I remember it was about halfway through getting changed. I went, "This is going to be awful, isn't it?" And I could feel it coming that if Khalil loses, I'm just going to be sat here with foggy swimming goggles, not being able to see my screen properly. Oh,
well, you know what?
It sucked.
After this as well, we can talk about Yuri versus Khalil, because Khalil wants to.
We don't have to. We don't need to talk about that fight. We can talk about any other fight ever, but we don't need to talk about that specific one.
No, I don't mean that fight. I mean, because Khalil's called him out to run it back. So I don't know. He
has.
On that,
I don't really know why. I don't. In my opinion, what I think they should have done with Khalil was give him like a Johnny Walker rematch, because he's obviously got a loss to Johnny Walker early in his career. And I saw his schedule to fight Dominic Reyes. Okay, so that's kind of out of the water. So I was thinking even like an Azmat Murzakhanov, like someone just kind of in that top 10 that's not a big name, but still keeps him in the mix. And a strike like Azmat will stand and bang with him. So
I think Murzakhanov's a good fight. Yeah, Murzakhanov is a good fight.
But he was scheduled to fight Paulo Costa, which I didn't really. I don't understand the thought process for that.
Nah.
I didn't get that at all. I actually don't understand why he's fighting Paulo Costa, because I don't understand the thought process, because I can't see Paulo actually making a run at light heavyweight either. Like, I think a lot of those guys up in that top 5 beat him.
Yeah.
Like
it's a weird one. I mean, maybe he just can't be asked to try and cut down, so he's just giving it a go. Kenny hate when? I mean, fuck Kenny.
All day, every day!
Even though War Horse is channeling his inner Kenny with this prediction, which I tell you what, we'll get into we can start now. I mean, we got quite a few.
Well, where do you want to start, bro? I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pages. So I'm happy to start wherever you want to.
Well, do you want to see my notes?
Yeah.
Right.
Look
at these guys. These are my notes. See that?
Someone didn't come prepared.
I don't even need to. I don't need to. My debate tactic, right, is just letting the person yap. Letting the person yap, and then I use their own arguments against them to make themselves realize how silly they sound. I do it all the time. It's fantastic. Right, I'll tell you what we'll do, right?
Sorry.
Right. You, Easy Glazer's right. I'm reading all of this. No, Bromo's going to freestyle. I freestyle, bro. You know, I don't fucking do my research and shit. I'm not a fucking nerd like War Horse, all right, doing my fucking notepad shit. And
what does it mean though? Like I can write all these notes, but if I don't get a won't be close video correct, what does it really add up to?
Exactly. Plus, I don't have time. I have kids. I can't sit and fucking write 9 pages of fucking shit like that. Right. Anyway, let's get going. We have 29 viewers in. All right.
Do we? No fucking way.
Yeah, man.
Damn.
So let's go. So
like and subscribe.
I tell you what we'll do. You can start. I'll give you a few minutes. Just do like a bit of an opening. Then I'll do an opening, and then we can just go into an open dialogue.
Perfect.
I'll do a three minute timer each.
Damn, how professional is this shit?
Well,
proper debate, 3 minutes each. No way.
Well, you don't have to.
No.
You use the whole 3, but yeah, just let me know when you're done, or I'll let you know when the timer's up. So when you're ready,
I'm a bit of a waffler. Like I don't yap. I just tend to waffle off of a topic for too long, if you will. So
okay, well, whenever you're ready,
I'll be fine.
Let's go. 3 minutes starts now.
Perfect. So I feel like the actual idea of Gaethje versus Paddy is, I actually don't hate it. The more I think about the fight, the more I actually think I don't hate the matchmaking. I know Arman should have been in the mix, but I actually don't mind when I come to think of it, because it is a pure striker versus grappler sort of matchup where we do have Justin Gaethje, who is out of his prime, but can we really subject the prime to a certain age? Or is Gaethje still got it hopping on his ass? He has been winning fights recently, but we do look at Paddy, right? Paddy is the up-and-comer, the young guy, the new kid on the block, and he is good. You know what I mean? The more I've actually looked into Paddy Pimblett over this last week, the kid does know what fighting is. I don't know if he can spell the word fighting, but he does know what it is, obviously. And for Justin Gaethje, I don't even think he can, as you're a toddler, when you have like the triangle, the square, and the circle, he's trying to jam a fucking square into a circle sort of thing. He's got some loose screws, but I think Justin Gaethje is actually one of the more underrated guys with fight IQ. I think the more we look at him, the more that we just think that he has autism, he's dumb, he's this, he's that. The guy actually does know what he's doing to a certain extent. Like you look at the Tony fight, the Chandler fight, both Fiziev fights. We'll talk about the Holloway fight later, because that's a whole fight in its own that I want to actually debate rather than me just talking about. But it's one of those fights you look back and you go, Holloway had the perfect game plan. And that's what I believe Paddy Pimblett's strongest weapon is. Paddy's ability to game plan and have a set structure for a fight is incredible. Like I look at the Bobby Green fight and what he did to prepare for that fight, where Bobby has his hands low. He likes to make you go first and then counter. Whereas what Paddy was doing in that fight was staying out of range, throwing leg kicks and keeping his distance, making Bobby be the one to go first, which is why he shot a takedown, jump gears, and then went to the triangle in the arm. So that was actually one of Paddy's best suits, being that game plan. But the thing with Justin Gaethje is that he has the ability to say, fuck your game plan, I'm going to land a punch on you, and you're not going to wake up. Which does sound crazy in itself, because he hasn't had a knockout in so long. But you talk to guys, I know, I don't personally, but you look at guys like Khabib Nurmagomedov, Charles Oliveira, they will all say that Justin Gaethje is the hardest hitter that they've ever faced, which is a pretty big deal when you look at a guy like Khabib for how hard he actually hits. It's crazy. But my main argument for this fight is that Paddy Pimblett is a grappler.
30 seconds.
He is. 30 seconds, me oh my. Paddy Pimblett is a grappler. We know he's a grappler. Justin Gaethje is a striker. But can Paddy Pimblett get the fight to the ground? He hasn't really shown any wrestling since his Cage Warrior days. The only real time he has against Michael Chandler, which Michael Chandler might be dumber than Justin Gaethje. And Justin Gaethje, I know he's at the end of his career. There's so much on the line for this White House card, retirement, and everything. I think the stars are going to align perfectly and see a third-round TKO from Justin the Highlight Gaethje.
That was perfectly timed. Perfectly timed. All right, I'll have a little 3 minutes now. Now, look, in my opinion, look, we all know War Horse's track record with picks, guys. I mean, come on. He's terrible, okay? And I'm not saying that I'm much better, but every video, he made a whole video saying, come back to this video when JDM dominates Islam Makhachev, and what the fuck happened there? And I know I did the same thing with Alex Pereira, but you know, that was more of a back and forth fight anyway, so it's less embarrassing. But onto this fight, I think Justin Gaethje, he's not technical at all. His striking is, I mean, look, he's more of like a brawler. I mean, you could, I'm gonna show you a moment in the Oliveira fight. All right, because everyone goes on about, Gaethje's boxing, man. He's striking so fucking crisp and it's so good. It's really not that great. It is good. I mean, I would say he's a better striker than Paddy, but as an all-rounder, I think Paddy's probably got it. I mean, because Gaethje, people always go on about, Gaethje's wrestling and shit like this. Never fucking uses it. He's never wrestled. Oh, sorry. He got one takedown against Fiziev. And I know War Horse is going to bring up, he beat Fiziev, man, and Fiziev's this and that. But in his video that I watched the other day, he said that he thought Fiziev won the first fight. So that's irrelevant. And the second Fiziev fight, 2 weeks notice, out of the cage with an injury for like a year and a half. And in between those two fights, I believe he fought Dustin Poirier, who has always been good, but let's be honest, on his way out. And, I just don't see how, people, like even Warhorse said, basically, that Fiziev got robbed in the first fight. He then beat a guy on his way out in Poirier, and then he beat a short notice Fiziev on 2 weeks' notice after being out for a year and a half. And based on those last three fights, I don't really see how he can do anything really to someone like Paddy Pimblett, who's he's younger, he's probably in his prime. And I'm not saying Paddy's like this fucking unreal lightweight, because obviously we all know Arman Sarukian's really the best. Fuck off. We all know that Arman Sarukian's number one, really. But I think Paddy's like probably, in terms of the top five, I think Paddy's probably the fourth best, with Justin being the fifth. Okay, and I think Paddy's going to get it done by submission. Even if Justin does clinch, he can throw like a jumping triangle or something. And Gaethje's got no jiu-jitsu, so I think that is my time. Okay. So let's get into it.
Okay.
Let's hear your pitch then. So you think how does Justin beat Paddy Pimblett then?
So I've written down a game plan for both men as to what is actually the game plan and what are you trying to achieve? Where do you want the fight to be? What do you want to happen? Where do you win the fight? And I've written down for both men. There is more for Paddy than there is for Gaethje, because I think Paddy has a lot more to work on than there is for Gaethje, because we know Gaethje, I know he's old, but he's a bit of a vet. He's fought the who's who of lightweight. Like, you've seen that full violence photo where Gaethje's literally fought everyone and Paddy's fought fucking Jared Gordon and Jordan Levin. It doesn't really add up that much. But I've written the game plan for both men. So I've looked at Paddy, right? And we will talk about this for Paddy, because I think this is it's a good and bad thing for Paddy, right? Where I've written, stay on the outside and use footwork, which is what Max Holloway had so much success with in that fight against Justin Gaethje, where it was staying on the outside, using footwork and trying to circle out, which is something that Paddy doesn't do. Paddy will move backwards, get his back against the fence and say, fuck you, I am going to throw this uppercut and then this hook if you come any closer to me. He did it against Michael Chandler, and it worked against Michael Chandler because Michael Chandler is an idiot. But it's
so is Gaethje though, bro. Let's not sit here and fucking act like Gaethje's much more clever than Michael Chandler. Let's not sit here, right, and be like, Michael Chandler's a dum-dum. Gaethje's got fucking great fight IQ, guys. I'm like, he does the same thing that Chandler does.
Gaethje was actually dumb.
You what? Sorry.
When was the last time Justin Gaethje was dumb?
Was dumb? Well, when he's like, he does this thing in like all of his fights where he like fucking ducks down like this every time for no reason. He just does this. He does this constantly.
I have written that as a con for Justin Gaethje, that every time he defends, he always dips to the right, no matter what. It's always to the right, always to the right, always to the right. So that is another pro that I have, or another game plan stitch for Paddy, that it is find your moments to blitz and end combinations with kicks, which worked against Michael Chandler. And he kind of had that offbeat blitz, which is what he caught him with the knee, with that flying knee, which was evidently the downfall of Michael Chandler. But it's really finding your moments to blitz in when Paddy gets his back against the fence, and then ending every combination with kicks, because Gaethje's body is very exposed. We saw that against in the Poirier rematch, where Poirier would throw these body kicks, and it kind of looks like a hate kick. He doesn't throw it very high, but it would always land. And Gaethje kind of just shells up, dips to the right, because his elbow's so high, his body's so exposed. So I think that can be a really strong suit for Paddy, is ending those combinations with kicks. But he has to make Gaethje scared entering the pocket. That is his biggest strong suit that he has to do. If he doesn't make Gaethje scared of entering that phone booth, he will lose this fight quicker than we all think. Yeah,
but why is that though? Because but we've seen Gaethje lose, like with Charles. You know, he didn't make Charles scared. You know, Gaethje dropped him twice, and you know, Gaethje wasn't scared of like trading with Charles. And I'm not saying Paddy's on the same level as Charles, but if you're saying that the only way Paddy could possibly win this is if he makes Justin scared to actually engage with him, but Charles didn't do that, and Charles still managed to get him out of there and submit him. So why is that different?
Because I think the big thing with that fight, with the Charles fight, was Gaethje was scared already 10 seconds in, when Charles came flying across the octagon and actually landed a right hand that actually hurt Gaethje. Was it even 10 seconds in, where Paddy does not have the ability to do that? We know he doesn't, that Paddy isn't just going to go across the octagon and just land one shot, which is what Charles D landed, that very picture-perfect right hand, which made Gaethje already timid. Gaethje did land confidence by dropping Charles twice, obviously. But then he started swinging for the fence, which is another thing as well, that I feel like Gaethje doesn't rely on moments, and it's something that he has... It's something that I think has come up a lot more recently in his career, because he did it early on, and then he kind of left it, where what he used to do was, if you hit me, I'm going to hit you back and harder. And I'm going to hit you harder and harder and harder. Where you see him drop Charles. He drops Charles again. And then you'll see him swing for the fence and throw his whole body weight into it, because he wants to hurt you, because you hurt me.
And then he falls over. And then he falls over.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. He does. But
genius fight IQ, bro. Honestly, so clever.
So does Paddy, right? Because this is another thing that I have for... Where should I even go with now? Here, I'll end with this, right? I'll end with this for Paddy's game plan, because this is kind of the biggest thing for Paddy. Take the fight to the ground. If you stand and bang with Gaethje, you're going to lose.
I agree.
We've seen it with pretty much everybody, that if you choose to stand with Gaethje, you will lose. Now, I do want to say, though, I did think Fiziev won that first fight. Watching it live, watching it back, everything, I've always thought Fiziev won that. Fiziev won. Yes, it's great that Gaethje looked more technical and was throwing the jab and was a lot more patient and calm, but I always thought Gaethje won that fight. I've always been a believer that Gaethje always won that fight. I think that, because there was a 10-8 round in there, wasn't it?
Sorry. Hold on. Do you mean Gaethje won that fight, or do you mean
Fiziev Sorry.
Okay.
I always thought Fiziev won that first fight, because I'll pull up the scorecard, because I actually think they actually got the scoring wrong, didn't they? Fiziev, Gaethje won score. I'm so sure they actually got the scorecard wrong for it, because they gave... I remember one of the judges gave Gaethje round 1, which is actually probably Fiziev's best round. So even on that aspect, if that judge gave Fiziev round 1, he wins the fight. It was one judge that gave the first round to Gaethje, being an idiot, and he would have won. But I don't want to talk about that fight too much, because I think the Holloway fight, and a lot of other more Gaethje fights are more important. But the game plan for Gaethje, calf kick. Paddy is so heavy on that lead leg that if you rip that leg kick early and for as long as you can, it will work. It will work. It's worked throughout his career. It's always worked. It's never really failed on him. It did a little bit in the Fiziev rematch, because he doesn't really telegraph it enough in that fight, because I think he came a lot more casual, knowing that, it's not Dan Hooker. I'm fighting Rafael Fiziev. I beat Fiziev the first time. Comes a little bit more loosey-goosey, if you will, if I want to use that term. But I think it's the calf kick and be where you want to be. Gaethje has to be where he wants to be. If you want to be in the phone booth, get to the fucking phone booth. If you want to stay at range, be at range. Don't let Paddy dictate the fight, because the second that Paddy dictates means that Gaethje's scared. Gaethje will get in the phone booth, not throw an uppercut, not throw a big meaty hook. Paddy will go for a flying triangle, get it, and then submit him. So I think you really have to just stand his base and say, I am doing what I want to do. I'm going to be where I want to be and dictate the fight. Because Gaethje has aura. Whether we like to admit it or not, Justin Gaethje has aura. Because he does have...
That's how he wins the fight. He just comes in with his aura. He just comes in with his aura, huh?
It's because he's... But if I was in the octagon, right? If I was a fighter and I was in the UFC and I was fighting Gaethje or Paddy for an interim belt, I would be more scared of Gaethje, and I think a lot of people would be. Because I think Paddy is just like, I need to keep this fight on the feet and do what I want to do. Whereas Gaethje, I've got the mindset of, I have to get this fight to the ground, and I have to do as much as I can to get the fight to the ground. Whereas I think we saw that in the Magomed Ankalaev fight against Alex Pereira. Ankalaev really was actually talking shit to Alex Pereira. And Alex Pereira didn't really like it because throughout his career, really, no one's really talked shit. Like, I know Sean Strickland did, but he didn't see a Khalil Roundtree, a Yeri. Jamal Hill did, but Jamal Hill is so corny that it doesn't actually really matter. And you kind of just hear Jamal Hill talking. I'm a bit like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, he had that chain, and I was like, dude, stop.
Yeah,
stop.
Yeah, it's bad.
But it's really just being where you want to be. Don't shell up, because that's where Paddy will throw those kicks to end combinations. And don't overcommit. Gaethje, do not overcommit. The second you overcommit, you're fucked. You are fucked, and it's over, in my opinion. I think that's the worst thing you can do, is overcommitting to an uppercut, overcommitting to a hook, overextending on a jab, anything, or overcommitting to a leg kick. I just landed one. I'm going to land two more. No. Get back at distance, hold your ground, stand your fucking base, and then throw another one when you need to.
Yeah, but when does Gaethje fight with like smart or like fight IQ? Like,
Tony
you're saying, oh, Gaethje needs to,
the Poirier fight,
or the Poirier fight, the Fiziev fight. What? Which one? You mean the one that you lost?
The first one. Because even though we lost,
so we thought we could have fight.
But he still came with a game plan.
So your advice to Gaethje, right, is go in with a game plan and fight smart. And when he did that, he lost.
Yes,
that's your advice.
In my opinion, this might be a really bad take, and this might age really poorly. I think Fiziev is probably the second. He's a top 10 striker in the UFC, maybe top 5, pushing top 5. I think Fiziev is the second best striker at lightweight, maybe third. Because I'd put Ilya above him, obviously. Maybe Holloway, but Holloway did get dropped. Holloway did get knocked down by Gaethje and by Poirier. I'd put him as probably I think he's going to fuck up Mauricio Houfi. I think Houfi is going to get absolutely destroyed by Fiziev. Like, I don't know how he's going to win that fight. But watching the fight back with Benoit, he actually did a lot better than I remember. He did a lot better than I remember in that fight, but still looked dog shit. But basically, Gaethje's game plan: brawl, but try to win every exchange. Mathematically, you're not going to. You just won't. That's so he
needs to brawl, but he needs to fight smart at the same time. That's the advice.
Because it works. It worked against Chandler. It worked against Poirier in the rematch, and it worked in moments against Holloway. Because you brawl.
He got fucking dude. He got fucking 50-45 and then knocked out
Holloway. Are we being dumb?
Who gives a fuck? This isn't. This is not boxing. This is not boxing. We do not give a 10-8 round. We don't give a 10-8. Fuck off. We do not give a 10-8 round for a knockdown in MMA. You don't automatically win the round because you knock someone down. This ain't boxing.
No, that is true. That is true, because it's one of the biggest arguments that I have for. Was it Gamrot Arman, because Arman got the knockdown, but I actually still think Gamrot won that fight. So
Exactly.
I understand where you're
Exactly.
coming from.
Exactly. So, you say, well, it worked against Max when he did this. And look, I'm not saying Paddy's on the same level as Max is striking, because he's really not. He's really not.
Yeah.
But this worked. He got schooled and knocked out, in that fight. And then when he did it again against Fiziev, he lost that fight.
Yes.
And it's and it's like, you're saying, he needs to fight like this and do this, but he loses those fights where he fights like that, And
yes, but
sorry. And the other thing is, it's like, you're saying that Paddy's really good at sticking to a game plan, which he is. Paddy's not going to go in there and go trade in the pocket with Justin Gaethje. He's not retarded, all right.
But
he might be a little bit because he scouts. He doesn't have to go in there and trade.
He does.
Why? Why does he need to?
Why would he stay on the outside? Why would he stay at range?
Well, no, I'm not saying that he's going to stay in range. No, stay at range. But what I'm saying is he doesn't need to go and trade on the inside. I mean, he managed to take down Michael Chandler, who's supposedly this great wrestler too. I'm not saying that it's impressive, but what I'm saying is Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler, in terms of wrestling, I'd say Michael Chandler's probably a better wrestler than Justin Gaethje based on what we've seen.
Yes, I would agree with that. Michael Chandler is. I actually think I agree. Michael Chandler is a better grappler.
Who's to say that Paddy doesn't just take him down, and then
when have we seen Paddy do that in the UFC?
You what?
When have we seen Paddy shoot for takedowns and wrestle against someone in the UFC?
I mean, we literally saw him take down Michael Chandler in his last fight
after hurting him.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. Yeah, he hurt him. How did he hurt him, War Horse? Because Michael Chandler ducked down into a shot. What does Gaethje do? He ducks down all the time. Who's to say that Paddy doesn't do the same thing again, or like he did against Chandler, as because he'll be able to read whenever Justin ducks down, so will his corner, and they'll say, right, when you do this, right, Justin does this. So when you feint something, make him do that, and then boom, knee or an uppercut. I think he'll hurt him and then take him down. Who's to say that he can't do that? I mean, him and Michael Chandler have probably the same fight IQ. Like they're both pretty dumb brawlers, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of this power that Justin Gaethje has, the last time we saw him, TKO someone that wasn't a head kick, it was Donald Cerrone. How long ago? Like 5 years ago.
Tony, technically, he TKO Tony.
Well, yeah, but I know what you
mean. I'm being a dick.
They saved Tony in there. They saved him. I mean, like a knockdown type shit. It was Donald Cerrone, man. And the last person that he fucking slept, I believe, was James Vick. And I don't know how long ago that shit was. That was a while ago. So people are going on like, and question, who did you pick, Michael Chandler or Paddy Pimblett?
I think I picked Chandler by TKO.
Yeah, why?
It would have been by finish. I think it was TKO because it was 5 rounds.
Yeah.
So my
5 rounds, and because he has power, right? And he's explosive, and he's a brawler, and he gets in close, and he big meaty hook.
Gaethje is an evolved version of Chandler with better striking but worse grappling. Because
listen, right, an evolved version of Michael Chandler is still retarded.
Yes. But so is Paddy. Paddy is still pretty dumb. Because one of the biggest things I see the finishing sequence in my head is going near identical to the Edson Barboza or the James Vick finish, which is, I said it earlier, right? All Paddy does in basically every one of his fights, he moves straight back. He doesn't move around. He doesn't circle out. He moves straight back, gets his back against the octagon, and goes, I'm going to throw this uppercut and then a hook if you come closer. We saw Gaethje do the exact same thing against James Vick and Barboza. Granted, not the same level. I get that. But made them move backwards. And the second they tried to circle out, it was just one big overhand and he slumped them completely. It's the exact same movement that Paddy does And Paddy, when he gets his back against the fence, is going to have to change how he normally fights and blitz. Whereas when we've seen that was in the Chandler fight. Chandler did blitz. And it worked in moments because that was in round 1 when Chandler has cardio. When we get to that second and third round and Chandler tries to blitz, Gaethje times an uppercut and actually drops Chandler on his ass. Same with Poirier. Poirier goes to blitz or come into the pocket. Gaethje feints a little bit, throws the head kick, and knocks him out. The second that Paddy moves backwards, Gaethje will capitalize. You cannot wait as Paddy Pimblett. Paddy has to be the aggressor or the one dictating the fight. That's my biggest thing. Paddy has to be the one moving forward first, has to be the one moving backwards first, and has to basically fight how Max Holloway fought, which is one of the biggest things for Paddy, where Paddy does have great game plans. We know he does. We know Paddy's he's one of the better. So is it's more of his team, but it's the game plans of Paddy Pimblett that makes him so good. But you look at what Max Holloway did against Justin Gaethje, where it was moving backwards, making Gaethje come to you, overextend, and then circle out. Paddy needs to replicate Max Holloway's movement. And he's never shown that.
Yeah, but why does he? Because people that don't know Max Holloway...
I just explained it!
Yeah, but no, but listen, what I'm saying is people, like, does Charles have Max Holloway movement? What does Charles do? He just plods forward.
Charles is a better Muay Thai striker than Max Holloway, though. Max Holloway's a better boxer, but in terms of his pure Muay Thai with his elbows and knees in the clinch, which is what he had success with Gaethje, and that's what he hurt him with.
Well, yeah, but this is the thing.
But he's throwing elbow.
You what? Sorry. Well, when have we seen him throw an elbow?
Throw an elbow in the clinch. Anything.
Yeah, well, just because he doesn't throw elbows in the clinch doesn't mean that he can't. You know that he's dangerous, like in the clinch. Still, I mean.
But what does he do in the clinch?
Look at what.
Inevitable that they're going to get in the phone booth. What is Paddy going to do when they get in the phone booth?
Well, I would probably say that Paddy's probably stronger than Gaethje. You know, he is like stronger in terms of like grappling strength. In terms of grappling strength. So what he can do is get in a favorable position, get like a get like a single collar, like control the wrist. He knows what to. He isn't gonna get in the clinch and just start fucking going for it. He's gonna go for like if he gets in the clinch, he's going into jiu-jitsu mode. He's going into grappling mode. He isn't just gonna like when people talk about clinch work, barely anyone really talks about like the grappling side of it. They just talk about, well, this person elbows in there and this person does uppercuts in there. It's like, yeah, they do. And Gaethje does do that, and that is true. Paddy's got a pretty good chin, though. I mean, we saw Chandler land some fucking big bombs on him, and he just ate it, and he just carried on, The only reason why Paddy earlier on in his UFC career made it look like, he was getting hit hard was because his hair was all over the place. But now he's got his cornrows, and it's all set in place.
Yeah. Looks cool.
It doesn't look so bad. And when people talk about clinch work, like, what's Paddy going to do in the clinch? He hasn't got a better clinch striking. Well, no, but I guarantee you he's got better clinch grappling than Justin Gaethje.
Yes,
and that's what he'll do.
Yes.
He'll probably get a single collar. He'll control the, he'll control the Gaethje's wrist. The one that he's going to be shooting with the uppercuts with, and as he's controlling that wrist, that's when he can jump for shit. I mean, Charles tried it against Gaethje. I mean, yeah, Gaethje got straight back up again. Whilst in the clinch, Charles jumped for a triangle or an armbar or something, and they did go down. But
But that was back up.
But that was after Charles got dropped twice and was hurt. I don't see Gaethje. I don't see Gaethje dropping Paddy Pimblett. I think Paddy Pimblett can take more shots than what Charles can. I mean, Charles got dropped by Michael Chandler. Paddy ate those shots. like they were nothing. You know, he didn't get hurt, he didn't get wobbled, and he managed to just soldier through it. I can see Gaethje maybe trying some shit. Paddy's going to jump whilst in the clinch. He's going to drag him down, go for an armbar or a triangle. I personally think he's going to get a triangle, choke him rounds 2 or 3. And I can see this happening. Like, Gaethje blitzes, Paddy moves back. Gaethje blitzes forward, gets it in the clinch. Paddy just goes, nope, jump. I mean, he tried to do, I'm pretty sure he tried to do a jump, do a triangle on Chandler, and he almost got it. But Chandler's just
almost.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. It's harder to do it to someone who's like short and stocky. Gaethje's not. It is. They're pretty much the same height. So if Paddy can get a hold of Justin's really long, lanky arms, because Chandler's got short, stubby, thick arms. It is really hard to like get that in a triangle or even an arm bar. I think he could definitely like drag him down and just get him out there with a triangle. I mean, Habib managed to choke him out with a triangle, right? So I don't see why Paddy wouldn't be able to whilst in the clinch. But I don't think Paddy's only game plan is to fight like Max Holloway, because there's been people that don't fight like Max Holloway that do really well and beat Gaethje.
Well, but my big thing is, right, when have we ever, because I know you talked about risk control and stuff like that, when have we ever seen Paddy do that in the UFC? Because we know he can do it on Cage Warriors, but against who? Against who? We have never seen Paddy really wrestle in the UFC. And
you could say that same thing to Ilia Topuria, though. We've never really seen Ilia Topuria do a lot of grappling in the.
Because he doesn't have to take the fight to the ground. Ilia doesn't have to get the fight to the ground. He can keep it on the feet. Paddy can't. Paddy has to get this fight to the ground.
Right, but you're saying, when have we ever seen Paddy do like risk control and this and that in the UFC? And then I say the same thing about Ilia in the UFC, about how he mostly just like doesn't, go for grappling and submit people in the UFC. And you say, well, he hasn't needed to. I could just say the same thing about Paddy. He hasn't needed to really do any of that. It doesn't mean that he can't do it.
I would argue he has. He lost to Jared Gordon just by boxing with him. We all know that Jared Gordon.
Look. I'm not going to defend that. Like that was a terrible, terrible fight. But I think Paddy just wanted to try and, I guess, prove that he could strike or something. I guess, but
he had to take Tony Ferguson down and wrestle Tony Ferguson to win that fight. When Tony came out in round 3, after David Goggins gave him his motivation, you got to be you, Tony. When he came out in round 3, Tony was putting it on him. Tony was landing. Tony was landing combinations. And Paddy had to take down and grapple with Tony to win that fight. Which, does that speak more about Tony Ferguson being actually still got it? Or does that speak more about Paddy Pimblett? That Paddy cannot defend a jab or a strike to save his life. Because I look at it both ways where, okay, yeah, Tony's in, what is it? Misfits? Is it Misfits boxing? The KSI DAZN boxing thing. I don't follow boxing, so I'm not going to act like I do. But I've seen him in boxing, and he's won a couple fights against Salt Papi and some other dude. I don't know what the names are, but I've seen he's been winning fights. Glory to Tony Ferguson. But I'm watching Tony actually land, and Tony put work on Paddy Pimblett in round 3. Not round 1, not round 2, the third and final round. Is that more of an aspect on Paddy Pimblett's game that he has awful cardio? Because I thought Jared Gordon won round 3 as well, and he does have his hands way low. If you would have watched my Won't Be Close video, you would have seen how bad Paddy Pimblett's striking defense is. He will overextend, and he won't have his guard up. It's all the way down to his hip. And we do talk about Gaethje. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to go this way. I'm going to duck and I'm going to roll. I can so easily see Gaethje ducking and then just saying, fuck off, an overhand right as Paddy Pimblett is overextending, which he hasn't learned to do. Paddy has not learned to not overextend. He only overextends. We've never seen him be classy and technical on the feet. We never have, and I don't think we ever will throughout his career. Maybe when he's like 38, if he's still in the UFC and he's learned everything, then he'll be better. But as of right now, we have never seen Paddy Pimblett be technical on the feet. We haven't seen him wrestle in the UFC. And everything that we're talking about, it's all if, buts, and maybes. Paddy needs to do this. Paddy should do this. Paddy could do this. We know what Gaethje's going to do, but do we? Because he is 38. He is older. Oh, we get that. We know he's older. Is his chin gone? We don't know. That's a really big question that we do have about Paddy. Or Gaethje, sorry. Is his chin gone? We don't know. Whereas Paddy, he can eat shots. We know that. Paddy can take a shot. But can he take a shot off Justin Gaethje? Clean. Can he take... But can he? Like, I watched Chandler land, right? I watched Jared Gordon land. Justin Gaethje is more technical than them. Justin Gaethje hits harder than them, and Justin Gaethje has slightly better fight IQ than them. He can land cleaner and better shots than those two names and hits harder than them. Is Paddy going to be too reliant on his chin where I know my defense isn't bad, or isn't great, sorry. I know that I don't have my hands up, but I can eat a shot. And then he's going to land that shot, and he's going to go, holy fuck, that was different. I don't need to hold my arms up. And now the leg kick and the body kick and the teep of Justin Gaethje is now there. And then Paddy's just going to go, what the fuck? I need to shoot a takedown. I need to go for a single leg. We have seen Justin Gaethje defend single and double legs off of Khabib Nurmagomedov. I know that Gaethje has takedown defense. And Justin Gaethje is one of the best scramblers in this sport. It sounds crazy. Justin Gaethje is one of the best scramblers in this sport and one of the best guys at creating a scramble. He will go for a forward roll. He will go for a backflip. He will do anything to not take the fight to the ground. And when he does roll, he creates that scramble. If it's not in round one, where they are purely dry and they're a bit sweaty, they're a bit slippery, that is where Gaethje will do his best work and just do the get the fuck off of me and just push and use his blitzing-esque moment, say get off and get back to the feet and make Paddy stand up, which then again, do I have my guard up? Do I keep my arms down? Do I check leg kicks? Do I test this? Do I test that? Paddy on the feet is going to have no answers for Gaethje. And once he does take a big shot, because we know it's going to happen, we kind of know Gaethje's going to land something. How does Paddy respond? Because we've seen him respond with Jared Gordon where he kind of shelled up. We saw it against Tony Ferguson where he shelled up. Michael Chandler did a little bit better, but Chandler has zero aura and Chandler is not a scary fighter where Chandler will land and you're just going to go, whatever. Chandler just lands and you go, yeah.
No, bro. No, listen,
yes.
Right? Because Chandler hits hard, bro. You know, Chandler's hurt.
Cardio.
Oh, listen, Chandler's hurt every guy that he's fought. He even hurt Gaethje.
Yes.
You know, at one point, he hurt Poirier. He hurt Charles. You know, Dan Hooker, I mean, you know, it's Dan Hooker, and obviously he did what he did to Tony, which was sad. But
what rounds is he hurting those guys then?
You what, sorry?
What?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah. I know it's early, right? But what I'm saying is, Chandler was landing on Paddy early, and he just kind of ate it. You know, he ate those shots very well. And this whole thing, I've just been letting you yap a little bit because I wanted to
waffle. I don't yap, I waffle.
Sorry, waffle, because I didn't want to interrupt. Yeah. Right? But I want to go back to something you said about the cardio, right? Because this, this cardio narrative for fighters, it's kind of been disproven. Notably by Khamzat Chimaev, who everyone on planet Earth said Khamzat's got zero cardio. If this goes outside of rounds two, he's cooked based on past performances. Paddy versus Tony, yeah, his cardio was fucking shit. It was diabolical. I'm not going to try and defend it and rewrite history. Right, but he looked good against Chandler over 3 rounds. He didn't get tired against Chandler over 3 rounds. I mean, in the third round, he landed that he landed that knee, got a takedown. If you're that gassed, you are not getting takedowns. You just aren't doing it because it's so hard, especially when you're slippery and everything. So this whole Paddy's got shit cardio because of a fight that happened a few years ago. I mean, I don't really understand why it's even a point that gets brought because fighters can improve, and it's the same with Khamzat. People go, Hamzat's cardio is terrible, therefore he's not going to last 5 rounds, and then his cardio improves, and then it's like, oh no, wait, his cardio can improve. So it's like, it's like, yeah, his cardio was bad in the past, but he's obviously improved. And I think a big part of his cardio in the past, which is what has been changed in his life now, right, is that he's not getting as fat as what he used to. But
he's vaping.
You what, sorry?
He's vaping though. I know we can't say much about that, but that does have an impact.
I mean, we saw Justin Gaethje fucking ripping a fucking shisha bong or something, or a vape or whatever it was too.
We know he has cardio though. We know.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. Even if Paddy is vaping,
you guys,
right? He still had good cardio in the Michael Chandler fight. He didn't get tired. He was looking good, and he isn't getting as fat as what he was. I think a big part of his cardio is these insane weight cuts that he was doing. He's not doing that anymore. So his cardio is going to be much better. He's going to be in much better condition, much better shape. He's going to be just much healthier all round. And there was another point I was going to bring up about, you said, Paddy Pimblett doesn't have good, defensive striking or whatever, and his defense is shit. And this is why Justin's going to clip him and this and that. You know who else has shit striking defense?
Who? Tell me.
Yuri Prohaska. I don't want to bring him into this to make you upset.
Yeah. No. Bring it on, because
Don't get upset.
I know what you're gonna say.
Don't get upset because Yuri Prohaska slumped and slept Khalil Roundtree Jr.
I do want to say this.
Like he was a little baby that he was putting down for a fucking nap. All right. It doesn't matter, right? If you have a good chin, you can take shots, all right? You can take shots. It doesn't matter. Paddy's got a good chin. Yuri's got a good chin. He was taking all those shots, knocks out Khalil in the 3rd round. And, I just don't think that if you have a good chin, look, it's not a good idea to not practice your, your fucking defense and you're keeping your hands up and your chin down. He obviously needs to work on that. I'm not saying that he shouldn't work on it. He absolutely should. Yeah. And he copes about it saying like, my chin's really good and I love getting punched in the face. That's why I keep my chin up in the air. And it's like, no, it's not. It's just because you're shit at striking. But I do think that it's not really going to be a big enough factor, right? Because he can take big shots. He's proven that he can take big shots against Chandler, where he's taking these looping overhands and he's eating them and he's carrying on. So this whole defense is shit thing, yeah, it is, but I don't think it matters too much. His whole cardio is shit. Yeah, it was. Right, he's in much better shape now, so I don't think it matters as much. And this whole, he defended some takedowns against Khabib. Like, all right, what happened though? You know what I mean? Like, what if
Khabib is such a different aspect?
I know he is. I know. I'm not trying to compare Paddy's wrestling to Gaethje, but what I'm saying is, Paddy's not going for single legs. Paddy'll get a body lock and he'll fucking rip him in the air and slam him down. He isn't going for single legs and double legs. He's gonna like get into a clinch and do a jumping triangle, or he's gonna get in the clinch, work his way around to a body lock, drag him down, or lift him in the air and slam him down, like he did with Michael Chandler. He didn't go for a double or single. He got a body lock and took him down.
Yeah.
That's how he got it. So, yes, Justin can defend takedowns, as in single legs and double legs, but Paddy doesn't do that. He just body locks, jumping triangle, that sort of thing. It's jiu-jitsu type stuff. In jiu-jitsu, it's hard to get to those double and singles because you are just purely grappling. And I know it's different in MMA, but like if you watch a jiu-jitsu match, they're like hunched over, they're like this, they're fighting their hands, and it's usually like they get into like a single collar and then they, rip around the back and they do get a body lock or whatever. So even though Paddy doesn't really do double and single legs, he's still got great grappling in a sense that he can get to a body lock. His single collars will be great. Getting the underhooks will be great. The inside grappling, the cage grappling is going to be fantastic. And I think that Justin being able to defend a few takedowns from Khabib until he got submitted, Okay. Even if he does defend some takedowns on Paddy, okay. He'll just, who's to say that he's not going to just get another one? And like I said, I don't think Paddy's not dumb enough to strike in the pocket.
No,
If he gets in the pocket, he's either going to disengage, because that's
But
another
how?
thing.
How?
Well, that's another thing that you do learn in jiu-jitsu and grappling. It's how to get out of these situations. And if Justin Gaethje,
You can be one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the sport, like Pantoja, where he did so. I hate to bring it up, but Pantoja made one of the biggest mistakes, and something you learn on day one: don't fall on your arm. Day one.
Yeah. True.
And Pantoja is one of the best jiu-jitsu guys in the sport right now. I'm not going to call him one of the greatest of all time, because that's just me glazing. But he's incredible. He made a mistake that you learn on day one. And he's one of the best flyweights of all time. But
but
when you talk about the chin of Paddy, right? You can have an unbreakable chin until you don't. I watched Chito Vera eat an incredibly big knee from Sean O'Malley in the rematch and not get dropped. In his very next fight, he got dropped by Davison Figueiredo. Yes, Figgy hits hard. So does Gaethje. But you can have an unbreakable chin until you can't. Once you get cracked or something big lands, it's kind of just a snowball effect. We've seen it with Chito throughout his career, where he relies on his chin and he won't have great defense. We saw it against Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley was piecing him up. I then watched Figgy drop him. Yes, Figgy hits hard. I don't think Figgy hits as hard as Sean O'Malley.
So what do you think the Gaethje's chin then? Because obviously we saw him get absolutely slumped and slept by Max Holloway. So what do you think of his chin?
I'm glad you brought that up, because I have about 2 or 3 paragraphs about that fight. So the biggest reason that Max Holloway had success against Justin Gaethje was because he never fought at Justin Gaethje's range while having the speed advantage. Max Holloway has a speed advantage over pretty much every lightweight, like or even featherweight. He's incredibly fast. He's one of the fastest strikers we've seen, and his movement's incredible. But he never fought at Gaethje's range. He was always in the pocket when he wanted to, and he would initiate it or he would get out of the pocket. The only time Max Holloway didn't initiate it, and that Justin Gaethje fight, Max Holloway got dropped. The one time that Holloway slipped up and went, "Holy shit, I'm in the pocket," he got dropped. I know.
Yeah, but this is your whole thing with sorry, hold on. So yeah, but this is your whole thing with Paddy and Justin. You're like, dude, if this gets in the fucking, if this gets up close, and they're in the clinch situation, and they're doing like inside boxing, Justin's really gonna hurt him here. And it's like, but now you're saying that Max did really well because he got on the inside and started to box him. But this is that's kind of one of the main things, that you're saying that Justin's going to do well against Paddy Pimblett if they get close.
Max Holloway in terms of striking. And he never will
he's not, but Justin's really good in that situation, right? And he got slumped whilst in the pocket. And I'm not saying that Max is going to do that Paddy's going to do that.
That's so different. I'm not slumped in the pocket when there's 10 seconds left in this swing.
I'm just
no defense.
Look. I'm just going to concede the whole Max Holloway, Justin Gaethje. Sure, Max.
He's scared of the paragraphs.
No. Listen, because it's not even relevant. It's not even relevant to my actual point. To my actual point, right? Which is you're saying, right? Your chin is only. What did you say? Like,
your chin's only.
You're sorry.
It's only good until it's not good.
Yeah. So. We see Justin Gaethje get absolutely slumped out cold. No matter how Max had success in that fight, right? The bottom line is Gaethje got put to sleep, right?
Mm-hmm.
So his chin's cracked by your own logic. Saying until you get slept, then it's
finished them.
Put him.
Eddie Alvarez finished Justin Gaethje. Dustin Poirier finished Justin. Fuck, I'm getting to Dustin and Justin. Eddie Alvarez knocked out Justin Gaethje. Dustin Poirier knocked TKO. Justin Gaethje. Tony Ferguson dropped Justin Gaethje. Gaethje has a good chin. It's not the best ever. It's good, but it's not your Marvin Vettori, your Max Holloway-esque, your Chito Vera-esque where
Yeah.
it's just unbreakable. But Urban practice was never great.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. So who's to say that Paddy just doesn't land one of those uppercuts that you keep talking about when Justin does?
I've never seen him do that.
You just said he always does that. You just said he always does that.
I'm taking
You said no.
Paddy Pimblett you said in the clinch.
No, shut up. Right.
Back against the fence.
No. Listen, you said to me, one of your arguments for Paddy Pimblett and why this isn't going to do well for him is because what he does is he moves back and he throws the uppercuts.
Yes,
and now you're saying, when have we ever seen Paddy throw an uppercut? When have we ever seen that, bro? When have we ever seen Paddy throw an uppercut?
Against Michael Chandler in his last fight. Against Jared Gordon that didn't land.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. That's what you just said, though. You said, when have we ever seen Paddy do that?
Yeah, but it doesn't work. It never works.
Yeah, but who's to say that he won't hear? This is what I'm saying. Like, this is what I'm trying to tell you. Justin's out there getting slept, right? And you're saying that, your chin's only as good as until you get slept. And you're saying, well, Justin's been slept this time. Who's to say, as Justin is ducking down, and you know this, right? If you lean into a punch, it amplifies the impact massively. Who's to say, right? And say what you want about Michael Chandler, right? The guy's tough as fuck. The guy's really tough. I mean, how many times did Gaethje drop him and hurt him, and he still carried on? Gaethje didn't get him out of there. Paddy did though. But the thing is like, who's to say that Justin, who's already been knocked out quite a lot, right? By your own, well, not quite a lot because he's only lost five. I know what you mean. Five times, but who's to say that as he's ducking in, Paddy doesn't do these uppercuts that you say that he always does?
Because they're not telegraphed. He doesn't hide them.
One of these. Yeah, but you don't want to telegraph your shots.
No, but Paddy doesn't. Paddy doesn't hide his shots. He says, I am going to throw my jab now. I am going to go for an uppercut now. It is so easy to read. And for a guy like Justin Gaethje, who is for the likes of a Dustin Poirier, and even Eddie Alvarez for that aspect, Tony Ferguson, who are incredible strikers and are hard to read because Poirier has that Philly shell that actually works and a bit of that Wing Chun kind of weird style that he works with. He's so hard to read.
Yeah, but you're acting like, listen, how are you going to see a shot coming when you're looking down?
But the thing with Justin Gaethje is he ducks, but he shells. It's a misconception with Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, but look at War Horse, right? Get up, stand up for me, right? Duck down and shell up.
You're gonna have to use signals. Right, tell me what to do.
Duck, get up, right? Duck down and.
Is that what? Am I like the Habib style?
Yeah, right. So just hold that. Go on, duck down, shut up. You see that massive fucking gap in the middle? That's gonna get straight up through there, bro. Even a knee. Like this massive, like with MMA gloves. Look, I've done sparring with I've done kickboxing. I've done MMA, right? With kickboxing, you can get away with this. Right? Because with MMA, you literally need to just like move your head out the fucking way because those little gloves can get through tiny gaps, and it's like when you are defending hooks, right? Right. When you're wearing boxing gloves, you can get away with just doing this. He's not even looking.
Sorry.
Have you got somewhere to be? Like, or what?
No, I'm just reading my notes, buddy. Chill out, bro.
When you got boxing gloves on, right, you can get away with doing this. Because your glove's massive and it's going to cover your whole face, right? When you're MMA, it's literally, you need to be like this, right?
Yeah. I understand.
So unless he's super tight like this, which he's not, there's no reason why. As he's ducking down...
Even about Gaethje. Gaethje's not like this.
Yeah.
Are you serious? Do we want the same Justin Gaethje?
No, but what
are you on Mars? Because
no,
I
look.
have watched Justin Gaethje and I have seen him. Yes, he ducks, but he always has his guard up. Always.
Well, yes, he does. Yes, he does, right? But what I'm saying is, in order to stop these little tiny MMA gloves to get through, you have to leave literally no gap in there, right?
Yes. I agree.
And we've seen Justin Gaethje duck down and get caught. I mean, you say that he shells up.
Against who?
I mean, we saw him duck down and get fucking kicked in the face by Max Holloway.
No, that was different because the reason that shot landed was because Max Holloway read that he was going to go to the right and threw that heel hook. Paddy Pimblett cannot.
Why can't Paddy do the same thing? Why?
Because he's not that athletic. He is not quick enough to throw a heel kick like that.
No. Sorry, I'm not saying he's going to throw a spinning back kick. I'm saying why can't he read and go? I'm going to throw a hook now, and just land a hook.
Because his accuracy is awful. Paddy Pimblett's accuracy, his striking accuracy, is awful. So is Justin Gaethje's. Justin Gaethje's isn't much better, but it is better. But Justin Gaethje, when he throws, will move his body, will move his head. Paddy is, I am going to stand still and I'm going to throw. Uppercut, hook. Gaethje will at least move his body, move it left, move it right, duck, do whatever. Look, he's moving his head.
Look at this. Whoa! You see that, guys?
We talked about this earlier with the striking accuracy of both men.
Look at this, guys. See how he moved his head then when he got punched in the head, and then he fucking
go back.
That is elite striking, guys.
Is that possible? I don't know. I don't use.
We can go playback speed. Yeah.
Put it on like 0.5 or 0.75.
Right. How far back are we going here?
Just to when you show. Esh. So we're here, right? Charles walking him down, high and tight guard. Gaethje moving his arms, moving his body. Look, throws the jab, ducks his head. Yes, Charles did land. Paddy Pimblett does not have that accuracy. And this is what I talked about earlier. Justin Gaethje will throw for the sake of throwing. Charles Oliveira has already hurt him. Justin Gaethje has dropped him twice, and he has built the confidence to say, I could knock you out now, so I'm going to overswing and I'm going to overcommit. Because that right hand landed. And yes, Charles Oliveira was very good to move out of the way. But can Paddy pounce on that opportunity? Can Paddy jump on Justin Gaethje there? Because even though if he can jump on Justin Gaethje as he has overcommitted, can he submit him from there? I don't think so, because Justin Gaethje's ability to scramble and ability to create a scramble and get up or be on his back or get on top is so incredibly impressive that is so underrated. And who's to say that Paddy Pimblett's just going to exit the pocket like that? Because we've never seen him do it. I could not tell you the last time I have seen Paddy Pimblett, actually move his body while throwing a strike.
Right. Well, sorry, I was just reading something. So you're saying so. I mean, we just seen there. Yeah, Justin did duck down to do a body jab, and then he gets instantly fucking punched in the face. And I know you say Paddy doesn't have that accuracy, but I mean, it's not really that hard to read. If Justin's going for a body shot and he's ducking down, then you know he's going to be there. But even if, let's say, Paddy doesn't want to throw the strikes because his striking accuracy is so bad, we saw him time the most beautiful knee against Michael Chandler, right? When he ducked down and went boom, cut him, and he's like, oh shit.
Beautiful knee ever, ladies and gentlemen. What was it? Round 3, round 4?
Round 3, I think. Round 3.
I can't remember what round it was, but I know what you're talking about. Was it?
It was. Look, right. I'm being hyperbolic. It wasn't the most beautiful knee ever. Right? But what I'm saying is, it was really well timed. Really well timed. All right. And yes, Justin Gaethje landed a body jab on Charles. Whoa! And then he gets punched in the face, and then he fucking misses and falls over. That's. I'll tell you what.
Since then, if we're going to talk about back then and that time period, I will talk about the Jared Gordon versus Paddy Pimblett fight.
And I already agree. That is shit. It's awful.
Yeah, who's to say Justin Gaethje hasn't improved since then? Because when have we seen him overcommit like that since that fight?
I wouldn't say that he's improved since then, considering you said that he lost to Fiziev.
Yes, but the reason he lost to Fiziev in the first fight was because Fiziev, as a Muay Thai fighter, they like to let go, then you go, then you. That's how Muay Thai kind of works, right? But you cannot be stationary with Justin Gaethje, which is what Fiziev was doing in the second fight. Fiziev was a lot more stationary, which was why he dropped him, because he didn't even need to enter the clinch. He kind of got him there, uppercut, dropped Fiziev on his ass. But Fiziev in that rematch did not move laterally. In that first fight, he was moving laterally, and that's why he had so much success.
Yeah.
Paddy Pimblett Paddy Pimblett couldn't even spell the word laterally.
He probably couldn't, to be honest. I mean, Scousers aren't that fucking bright.
You're right.
Yeah, they are. But listen, I don't think you're saying this is why physio.
Unk's frozen, or am I frozen? I can't hear you, Bromo. He's gone. Bromo's gone. Oh no, I'm here. Bromo's frozen. Oh,
hello.
Lol.
Hello.
Let's talk about why Justin Gaethje is going to win.
I'm here.
Oh, you're here. I couldn't hear you for like the last 10 seconds.
All right. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Right. So what I'm saying is, you're saying I understand why Fiziev beat him. I'm not disagreeing with that. But you're saying who's to say that he hasn't improved since then? And I would probably argue, that Charles Oliveira is probably a better fighter than Fiziev. And if you're improving over time,
not in terms of striking.
Well, no, but it's like an all-round. Yeah, but this isn't kickboxing, is it? This is MMA. So it's like if you're improving.
What's your point?
Well, what I'm saying is you're asking who's to say that he hasn't improved? And it's like, well, because you think that he lost a fight against a fighter who's not as good as Charles. So it's like obviously he can't be improving. I would say Justin's probably stayed the same. I haven't seen much. Like,
do you think he looked better in the Poirier rematch? Like, forget the Max Holloway in the Fiziev rematch. From Fiziev 1 to Dustin Poirier rematch, Gaethje improved a lot. He learned how to throw kicks other than the lower body.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, I'm not saying that Gaethje's hasn't looked good since the Charles fight, right? But what I'm saying is this version of this Dustin Poirier that we're talking about here, this was like his retirement run, right? And I'm not saying that that Poirier in this run wasn't still really good, because obviously he gave Islam a really, really tough fight. But Islam, I think it came out, or they said that he had staph infection or something during that fight. Not saying that's true.
Everyone says that.
I know. But what I mean is if we talk about the Dustin Poirier fight, he looked good, but all right, let's be real, right? Let's be real. It's kind of two unks, right?
With Poirier and Gaethje, are you talking about?
Kind of an unk fight,
But what
kind of an unk fight.
Here's my thing, right? What do we determine as an unk? Because I would say Volkanovski has hit unk status, but he beat Diego Lopez. I would say Kamaru Usman is an unk, but he beat Joaquin Buckley.
I think with an unk, it's not just your age.
And he beat Kai France.
Who's an unk, sorry?
Pantoja. What is he, a year younger than Gaethje?
No, to me, when I say unk, I don't mean purely just on age. When I'm talking unk, because if we're talking unk, then Alex Pereira is a fucking unk, because he's 39.
In the
I mean, when I'm talking about unk, I mean age, prime, miles on the clock. That's what I'm talking about, all right? These guys, loads of miles on the clock, both not really, well, they're not in the prime anymore. And then this was Poirier's, like I say, this is his retirement run. I think, in his last 3 fights that he had, I believe, was it Islam, Gaethje, and then Max. Was that
Gaethje, Islam, Max? It was Gaethje, then Islam, then Max.
3 losses, isn't it? And I'm not saying they're Islam, Gaethje,
Islam, Max, but yeah. Sorry, yeah.
And I'm not saying that these. Yeah, but Benoit had staph infection though, and he actually did have staph infection.
Yeah, that was true. That was true.
Yeah. And if we look at his last few fights, it's like, okay, yeah, he looked good, but it's like
he looked incredible. I would say he looked incredible.
Yeah, but I mean, like, he's looking incredible against another guy that's kind of on the way out, you know. And if you look at Gaethje's, sorry,
he did a lot better than Justin Gaethje. But that styles make fights. Dustin Poirier, styles make fights.
Sorry, who you on? Against who? Sorry, who you on about?
Dustin Poirier did better than Justin Gaethje.
In what?
Against Max Holloway. But
yeah. And or you know, but I mean that's like MMA math type shit, and you know, styles make fights. But I just think that you know, and I'm not saying Paddy, but here's the thing, and like you could say Paddy's last 3 wins have all been unks because they have, and it's, you know, that's a fair criticism. I'm not saying, like, Justin's obviously beaten better opponents than Paddy has. But if you look at the last 3 fights, because that's really what we're going off. You know, he lost to Fiziev in your eyes. I can't really remember. I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah.
I knew it was a fun fight. You know, he beat Poirier. All right, he was on his retirement run, and then he beat Fiziev on 2 weeks' notice with a year and a half out, being injured. So it's like, you know, those fights, I mean, they don't really tell us.
I'm going to look at Paddy Pimblett and say he fought Tony Ferguson, where what does that really mean? You won round 1, you won round 2. No. He was getting pieced up in round 3. This is a 5-round fight now. If Tony Ferguson is outboxing you on the feet in round 3, what can we really go off of? Bobby Green, I will give him that because he had a perfect game plan. He executed it perfectly, so I'll give him that. But Bobby Green, what can we really go? King Green. What can we really go off with the King Green fight? What can we really go off of that? Because Islam finished him in round 1, but I wouldn't class that as a good Islam win. I wouldn't say that's a good Islam win.
No.
We're calling it a good win for Paddy Pimblett when it's a couple years after Islam finished.
No. I don't think it's a good win.
I look at what was his last fight? Michael Chandler. Michael Chandler was even older, taking more damage, even more of an unk. Because I look at those Eddie Alvarez fights, some of the best fights of all time. But you took how much damage you took in that. Would you call Max Holloway an unk? Because I would, because he's had more fights in the UFC than Justin Gaethje, and I would argue he's taken almost more damage than Justin Gaethje. But myself, and I think a lot of you guys watching, are picking him to beat Charles Oliveira. So if we're talking about unk status, we're doing the exact same argument for Justin Gaethje, but then we let it slide for Max Holloway because he's Max Holloway.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I can see that. Yeah, but. I feel like the thing is with Max though is that, like, he's not really. I mean, apart from the Elia fight where, you know, he got his chin cracked in, he's always kind of like looked fucking solid. And even if you want to call Max,
sorry, who's this?
Max, and even if you want to call Max an unk and Charles an unk,
yeah,
you know, we can call them unks, all right. And that's fine because, but that like the Max versus Charles fight, if we're calling them unks, that'd still be kind of the same, like, unk status matchup as, you know, a Dustin versus Justin. But I'm not trying to discredit them when I'm saying that. But what I'm saying is, like, if you were looking at Justin's last few wins, one's a loss really, and one was on on 2 weeks' notice. Paddy's wins aren't much better, but at least he's finishing these guys, you know. And even Justin couldn't finish, you know, Michael Chandler. You know, I stupidly picked Bobby Green to beat Paddy Pimblett. I don't know why.
I think I did as well. You know, I think thinking back at it now, I actually think I picked Bobby as well because he had a couple wins, didn't he?
I've just realized that I've dead named him. I love King Green. I don't know why.
He just came off of the Jim Miller win at UFC 300.
Yeah. I although I did say to my friend, I don't think I was doing MMA YouTube at the time, but I did say that if Paddy's going to win, he's going to need to grapple, and then he did. Yeah. So I guess that's you know, it is what it is.
I don't want to take away from that performance from Paddy though, because I think I actually look at the Bobby Green fight as the the blueprint as to what I'm seeing from him, where he made. Because the thing with Bobby Green, right, is that he has his hands low. He wants you to come first in a striking exchange so he can get his counters and his boxing combinations off of that. Where Paddy didn't even try and box with him. He only threw leg kicks for the first bit of that fight and made Bobby be the one coming first. And then once Bobby got frustrated, he sort of take down. Paddy went for a guillotine, obviously transitioned to triangle, got the submission and the finish. When I look at that fight,
but here's the thing, though. Bobby Green didn't just shoot a takedown, right? That came off a Paddy Pimblett low kick. So Paddy Pimblett gave a low kick to Bobby Green as he was coming forward, and Bobby Green kind of like, stumbled in because he was walking in onto the kick, right? Yeah. And you're saying, and before you say Bobby Green's nothing like Justin Gaethje, I agree. I'm not comparing the two, but you're saying that Paddy's only plan is to not his only plan, but Paddy can't get like backed up, and he can't let Justin come forward and like set the pace and this and that. Who's to say that as Justin's walking in, Paddy doesn't throw a leg kick and kind of get him off balance, and then take advantage of that situation? Because
when we see Justin Gaethje off balance, it doesn't even look like he's off balance because of how loosey-goosey and weird he is. Is that he will take a leg kick. And
we've just seen him fall over, War Horse. We've just seen him fall over.
He's thrown 2 or 3 before then and already compromised Paddy's leg.
We've just seen him literally fall over face first, and you're like, yeah, but when he's off balance,
years ago, what was that? 2, 3, 4 years ago?
When he's off balance, bro.
2, 3, 4 years ago, I was dominating Paddy Pimblett.
When he's off balance, bro, he doesn't even look like he is. Fucking face plant.
We're using the timescape of a couple years ago. This happened to Justin Gaethje. A couple years ago, Jared Gordon fucked him up. 30-27 him.
I know. Yeah.
But I do not think Paddy Pimblett. I don't think his striking's improved that much since that fight.
I wouldn't say that he's like. He's not like, he's still the same. I don't know how to word it. He's not like got more technical or anything like that, right? But I will say he's got more. He's got more awkward. He's got better all round. That. I think look, not by an awful lot.
You look like an idiot. He doesn't have better all round striking than Gaethje. Don't say it.
No. Sorry, I misheard your question. I thought you said, has his striking improved? No, he's not a better striker than. No. I'm not gonna say that shit. I'm not gonna rage bait you that much, bro.
Yeah.
But I think that in terms of improvement from many years ago, I mean, the old saying, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Or like let's not start acting like let's not throw a head kick. I was just going to say, let's not start acting like Joe Rogan and go, he developed a head kick at 37. Oh, my God. He developed a head kick against Dustin Poirier when he was fucking 59. It's like, no. He's always known how to do one. Same with John Jones. He just got to finish with one. All right, so let's not say, I could say fucking Paddy developed a flying knee.
Yeah. Paddy developed a 28.
It's like, no, he didn't. He always knew how to do it. He just timed it really, really well. And the head kick works really well with Poirier because all he does is this. He doesn't fucking move out the way.
Poirier's striking defense is actually really overrated, in my opinion.
Yeah, so that's why, right, when you're doing a head kick and Poirier's just standing there like this, it's like, well, yeah, go for it, because he's probably going to rip around the back of his head or whatever. But
yeah. So in terms of Paddy Pimblett's defense for a head kick is.
I agree. All right, but Paddy Pimblett, and I'm not saying like he could probably eat a head kick. We don't know that yet. Maybe he could, maybe he couldn't. But what I'm saying is, all right, in terms of like boxing, he's taken some big shots from Michael Chandler. But back onto the improvement, I would say Paddy Pimblett as an all-round fighter has improved more than what Gaethje has.
I would hope he's improved more.
So would I, but this is what I'm saying.
I hope he is.
This is why the comparisons, but this is why the comparisons to Gaethje from a few years ago are more relevant to the comparisons of Paddy, because we've seen improvements from Paddy's cardio since the Tony Ferguson fight, right? With Gaethje, right? He's still this swang and bang brawler that he was years ago.
We saw that.
You what?
When was the last time we saw Justin Gaethje be a stand and bang, swinging brawler?
I mean, we saw it against Max. I mean,
when?
But then when was that? Well, 2024.
When in the fight was he doing that? Because the only time that I saw it was later in the fight in rounds 3, 4, and 5 when Holloway was moving laterally and Justin Gaethje was getting frustrated.
So basically, so what you're saying is,
Paddy Pimblett can't do that.
So what you're saying is Justin Gaethje was an improved fighter for 10 minutes.
No, that sounds even worse. But my point is, in that Max Holloway fight, he was moving laterally and never fought at Justin Gaethje's range, which made Justin Gaethje get really frustrated and have to be the one moving forward. So when he would throw a strike, Max Holloway, I'm going to go over here. I'm going to move left. I'm going to move right. I'm going to move backwards. Paddy Pimblett will move backwards, period. He cannot move left. He cannot move right. And if he does, it will be very easy to read. And he will do the exact same thing that he did to James Vick, that he did to Edson Barbosa, throw a big overhand, and it will land because Paddy Pimblett's chin is going to be up in the air. Whether it knocks him out, whether it doesn't, it is going to land. How many overhand rights or lefts, whichever one you want to say, can Paddy Pimblett eat? I would say 3. Maybe not even. I don't know.
But what's that based off of though? We haven't seen anything to suggest that Paddy's, gonna crumble after 3 overhands.
I could say the same thing about Chito Vera. He ate a massive knee off of Sean O'Malley. When I went into that Figgy fight, I was like, Figgy's not going to drop him. Figgy will land. Figgy's not going to drop him, and Figgy does.
Well, yeah, well, if he does, then but here's the thing.
Chin. Volkanovski is a very good chin.
Yeah.
Islam KO'd him in round 1.
That's not, dude. Come on. You know the circumstances of that fucking fight, bro. All right. Sure.
That's my point, though.
All right, but you could say that about anything, though. I could say
Izzy has an incredible chin until he fought Alex Pereira.
Well, I mean, in fairness, Izzy didn't get fucking slumped. I mean, he did in kickboxing, but
because Mark Goddard saved him.
Well, yeah, no, but his chin's good enough to stay on his feet.
Sean Strickland dropped him. Pillowfish Sean Strickland dropped Israel Adesanya, and then Triggers Duplessis was really badly hurting him, and then a Mavov knocks him out. So could this be a snowball effect with Paddy Pimblett, similar to Max Holloway, where you take all this damage, you take big shots from Michael Chandler, now one shot from Gaethje, completely different level. That one shot is like 6 times it's not, but it's like double the power of a Michael Chandler because he knows how to throw a punch compared to Michael Chandler, who just swings.
Right, but here's the thing, right? All right. You're saying, like, I could have said that about Chito Vera, and it's like, yeah, true. That's true. But we already know that happened. Would you have said that going into that fight?
What, that Figgy can drop Chito? No.
Right. So I could come up with literally anything on planet Earth. What if Paddy does this to Gaethje and it happens? Who's to say that it wouldn't happen? Because we've seen crazy things happen in the past.
Because if it doesn't, the damage is going to accumulate. Justin Gaethje is going to win rounds. So could Paddy's chin take it the distance? Absolutely it could. But if it gets all 5 rounds, is Paddy going to shoot for takedowns? Is Paddy going to get the fight to the ground? I don't think so, because we haven't seen him offensively wrestle in the UFC. When they're in the clinch, yes, he can throw up a flying triangle, but outside of round 1, when you're sweaty and you're slippery, and Justin Gaethje, who's one of the best scramblers in the sport right now,
we did see him wrestle, though.
Takedown defense will be able to get back up because we know he has the ability to.
Yeah, but we have seen him wrestle. He wrestled in his last fight. He offensively
hurting Michael Chandler.
All right, it doesn't. Yeah, but you're going into this saying that there's no way that Paddy's going to hurt Justin, and it's like you picked Chandler to beat Paddy. Did you think Paddy was going to hurt Chandler and TKO him?
I thought Paddy was going to hurt Chandler because I've seen Chandler take so much damage. I knew Paddy was going to land. He was always going to, because that's typically how Michael Chandler fights. You're going to land, he's going to land. That's typically how it goes. But I didn't expect Michael Chandler to be that much of a bitch and just kind of crumble.
Well, there we go. So it's like, you know, you say, when has Paddy ever done?
Crumble.
Yeah, but we can say, when has Paddy ever like thrown a flying knee and then done this to anyone? It's like, well,
because it works on a smaller opponent like Michael Chandler.
I know, but what?
Yeah, I know. Who actually understands distance?
Look,
I'm not doing his work in the pocket.
I don't think you're getting my point. I'm not disagreeing that this is a possibility, right? But what I'm saying is, like, you know, we haven't seen it happen yet, so there's no reason for us to think it going into it. And it's like, I could just say anything. Like when it has Justin Gaethje ever been TKO'd via like a body shot? He hasn't, has he?
Well, no, but that was one of the reasons Eddie Alvarez actually beat Justin Gaethje, was because of the body shots that he was landing. That was kind of the reason.
But I could just go in and say, well, you know, Paddy landed a really good low kick on King Green. So who's to say that Paddy doesn't land a really good leg kick on Justin Gaethje and like breaks his leg because of all the damage that I know. But
what's the game plan against Justin Gaethje on the feet?
Let me try and explain what I'm trying to say here. What I'm trying to say. You're saying like you know, we have nothing to show in Paddy's fights. Yeah. Right, that his chin is going to crack. You know, he took big shots from Michael Chandler. All right, Justin Gaethje's not like this. So I mean, Justin Gaethje's last TKO that dropped someone was fucking Donald Cerrone. You know, these people that he's dropping like Michael Chandler, they're getting up and you know, and they are
and Charles Oliveira and Max Holloway and Rafael Fiziev.
Well, yeah, but like they're all getting up, and it's like, I don't know why you think like, if you know, Justin's got this much power, right, to crack someone like Charles, who gets dropped by everyone, right? And it's like, you think that Paddy Pimblett, who's shown no sign of getting rocked or anything, you just think because you've seen Gaethje drop fucking, you know, Charles. And you know, I mean, dropping Max is pretty good, but I do think that was more of like a punching with force so hard that he knocks him off balance, rather than he rocked Max to be dropped. If that makes sense, you know. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think he just, the force pushed Max down rather than him getting like a flush knockdown or whatever.
Well, no, they were in the clinch, and Justin Gaethje did land an uppercut. And that is what put Max Holloway on his ass.
But what I'm saying is, I think that was
the force of a knockdown. That's like Carlos Prates, Leon Edwards, where Leon is switching stances. Carlos Prates lands a straight hand and drops him. That's force. Justin Gaethje landed an uppercut that put Max Holloway on his ass.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, I don't think. Well, I mean, it clearly didn't. Like, that's he didn't knock him down in the sense that he rocked him and he was like out on his feet when he got back up. Do you know what I mean? Like, it was more like a forceful knockdown sort of thing, rather than being rocked, right? But we've not seen Paddy Pimblett. I know it's still a knockdown, but what I'm saying is, like, the people that he's like cracked and like wobbled, you know, like, you know, someone like Charles, you know, these guys are taking loads of damage over time, and Charles gets dropped in so many fights, right? But the thing with Paddy Pimblett is, what I'm trying to say is, right, we have had nothing in his previous fights to suggest that he can't take big shots, right? And what I'm saying is, Justin Gaethje, right, is not this crazy KO artist that everyone likes to make him out to be. Like,
no, he's a very heavy hitting striker.
Well, yeah, he is. But how heavy is he? If he hasn't
pretty fucking heavy. If Habib Nurmagomedov and Charles Oliveira are saying you're the hardest hitting striker they've ever fought.
Yeah, I'm not saying. What I mean is, right.
Conor McGregor.
how hard is he getting? How hard does he punch with his last TKO? Like a legit TKO was like what 4 or 5 years ago. Since then, he hasn't had anything.
Let me go through Justin Gaethje's career, right?
You know,
Here's what I'm going to say, right?
I'm not saying. Look, I'm not saying that he doesn't have power. All right, but what I'm saying is he doesn't have this otherworldly power that everyone's making out like he does. And I think he has good power, but I think Paddy's like Chandler has good power. You know, you thought Chandler was gonna.
He just swings.
Yeah, but you're saying
to a certain extent.
But you're saying Gaethje is gonna loop in with a fucking overhand and land on him. When
he gets back against the fence, which is something that Paddy Pimblett tends to do.
Well, yeah. But what I'm saying is like, if he can take big looping shots on the chin, right, from Michael Chandler, and because he's a hard hitter, and I would assume that you picked via TKO, right?
For Paddy Gaethje.
No, Paddy Chandler.
Probably it would have been my TKO.
Yeah, and it's like, well, he ate all those shots that Chandler did land. These big shots. I mean, and it's like, right. What showed you in that fight that Paddy can't take a punch? That's what I'm getting at. And
he's 2 minutes of cardio.
Yeah, but he doesn't have 2 minutes.
Chandler had cardio, and he goes into those later rounds. Chandler does not have good cardio. With Chandler hits hard, but when we get later into the fight, he loses a lot of his cardio, obviously, and he loses a lot of his power, a lot of his pop, a lot of his technique. That's why he's still landing on Paddy. Because his striking defense is awful, but it's not the same because it's the cardio difference.
Okay, well, even with that, then, even with someone with as shit cardio as Michael Chandler, Gaethje still couldn't finish.
Say that again, sorry.
Even with someone as shit cardio as Michael Chandler, right? Gaethje couldn't finish him. He dropped him a lot.
But the difference with the two fights is that Paddy versus Chandler was 5 rounds and Gaethje versus Chandler was 3 rounds. In a 5-round fight, Gaethje finishes Chandler. And also, I know I hate to bring up this was earlier in his career. That was Chandler what? Was that his 3rd fight in the UFC against Gaethje? His 3rd? Because he fought Dan Hooker.
I'll have a look.
Then he fought Charles. Then he fought Gaethje. That's what it was. It was Hooker, Dan Hooker, Charles Oliveira, and then Justin Gaethje. And then it was your Tonys, your Poiriers.
It was Hooker, Oliveira, and then Gaethje,
Yeah. Like Chandler was a less washed version of himself. Like we watched him against Charles.
I mean, I think Chandler's always. I think. I mean, you say Chandler is a less washed version of Chandler, but like up until that point when he fought Gaethje, he'd only won one fight against Dan Hooker, and then straight after that,
he knocked him out. The number 4 Dan Hooker in round 1, with Dustin Poirier just went to a 5-round war with. Michael Chandler knocked him out in round 1. He then fought Charles Oliveira, where he dropped Charles Oliveira and won round 1. Granted, he got
but are we really rating Dan Hooker?
Then we go to fight Justin.
Are we really rating Dan Hooker? Are we really rating Dan Hooker?
I'm biased, so I'm going to say yes. Obviously.
Listen, we're not rating Dan Hooker. All right, he's a fun fighter.
Well, to be fair, he's half decent. Hold on, let me pull up his Tapology. He's got some sneaky good wins. Like he actually does. Like low key, the Gamrot fight was close. I'll give him that. But a Jalen Turner win, and then he cut down to featherweight for some dumb reason. I don't know why he actually did that cut. That was one of the dumbest things I've ever seen a fighter do in their career. But since making the cut, he went back up, and I think he fought Claudio Puelles. Then he fought who did we just say? Jalen Turner. Then Matej Gamrot. Then he goes and fights Arman Sarukian.
I mean, people say, man, robbery against Gamrot.
They do. I think that fight is insanely close, and every time I watch it, I have a different answer. So I'm not going to say robbery. I have a different answer every single time I watch it.
Yeah, but it's like, Jalen Turner, man. I mean, what are we rating Jalen Turner now as well? Are we rating Jalen Turner?
I did rate Jalen Turner, but ever since the Moicano fight, where he waiting for a walk-off KO at UFC 300. I said this guy doesn't know what fight IQ is, and he forgets he's actually a UFC fighter. But after watching his Edson Barboza fight at UFC 323, he actually looked quite good. Who Justin Gaethje knocked out by.
Yeah, but it's like Edson Barboza too. Like, I mean, he's a good hunk, but are we rating Barboza in 2025?
No, but it's a win for Jalen Turner to come back against a striker and still finish easily in round 1.
Yeah, I get that, but like, I mean, you're saying, like, I have never really heard anyone. This is the thing, right? With these, like, when people go down like resumes and shit, like they go, "Oh my god, who could beat Jalen Turner?" That's no one rates Jalen Turner. no one rates Jalen Turner
because he ate a flush head kick somehow and still stayed in the fight and came back and was still having a lot of success against Jalen Turner. I don't know many lightweights, including Gaethje or Paddy, that could eat a head kick like that off of Jalen Turner.
Yeah, look, I'm not saying it's not like it's not impressive to like eat a head kick or anything like that, because it obviously is. But you're saying Michael Chandler came in and beat Dan Hooker, man. It's like, okay.
Well, to be fair, Dan Hooker just had a
5-round Are we gonna rate, like, I mean, Amar Sarukian or like just like dominated him? Are we gonna sit here and say,
no, that's how good Arman is?
Dan Hooker. Oh my god, who does that to Dan Hooker? Apart from, oh my god, Hooker beat Jalen Turner, guys.
Who does that to Dan Hooker? Who does what Arman did to Dan Hooker? Who does that to Dan Hooker?
I mean, Arnold Allen KO'd him. I mean, I know this a while ago. I mean, Chandler did it. Who does that to Dan Hooker? Chandler. He's fucking shit.
But the thing with Chandler, and the hardest part to talk about with Michael Chandler is that throughout his entire career, in the UFC, not in Bellator and everything, in the UFC, he's gotten worse.
I think he stayed the same. I think Chandler stayed the same. He just doesn't stack up. He just doesn't stack up to the UFC level, bro. Same with every Bellator.
Like Tony Ferguson.
Name exactly. Chandler. That's what I'm saying. Name
Tony Ferguson.
Name one Bellator guy. Right. Name one Bellator guy recently that's doing well, apart from MVP.
Well, the hard part with it, though, is that they have awful debuts. They have hard opponents to debut against. Paddy Pimblett should have never fought Mario Batista to debut. Yes, Paddy Pimblett fucking sucks, and I know he does. But I look at a guy
I'm sorry. People fought
Murphy had a lot of success in that first round. Before the spinning elbow, Aaron Pico was actually doing everything perfectly. If he was to fight Movsar Evloev like he was supposed to in a 5-round fight, I think Aaron Pico would have had a lot of success. Not would have won, but I think Aaron Pico would have done a lot better than people would have thought against Movsar and would have gone all 5 rounds. Lerone Murphy landed the perfect spinning elbow.
Yeah, no, but that still doesn't answer.
Landing the perfect flying knee.
All right, well, this still doesn't answer my question, though, does it? Because you're saying they all had bad debuts. It's like, well, yeah, but these are the top level guys in the UFC. That's kind of my point. These Bellator guys can't hang with the top level guys. If you're top level,
Paddy Pimblett has not been able to wrestle in the UFC.
But he has. Yeah, but he has though, because we've seen it in his last fight.
Why
do you keep saying this when we saw him do it against Chandler? What are you on about?
Michael Chandler.
Yeah,
who he hurt, and then took him down.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter because
go for a single leg or go for a double leg.
Sorry. What? Sorry.
Sorry,
hold on. All right, sorry.
His jiu-jitsu is incredible. Paddy Pimblett's pure wrestling is overrated.
Are you just moving the goalpost now? Because first it was, when's he ever wrestled? And then I go, oh well, he wrestled in his last fight. And then you go, okay, well,
after hurting someone.
Well, when's he ever done a single leg? Like, that wasn't the question. Like, when's Gaethje ever done a swanton bomb?
No,
never. He can't do it then. You know, it's
the point that Paddy Pimblett's whole game, and coming back to this Justin Gaethje fight, if Paddy wants to win, he must take the fight to the ground. To get Justin Gaethje to the ground, how does he do that? How does Paddy get Justin to the ground?
I mean, I gave a few suggestions earlier. He could hurt him as he's ducking down, like he always does. He always does ducks down constantly, or in the clinch, And I want to go back to this because I was going to mention it, and then you, what do you say? You do you waffle? You started waffling, right? You talk about Pantoja making that mistake about breaking the arm, all right? And it's like, yeah, he did. That's not the same thing as like getting in the clinch and doing like a single collar and doing wrist control, in the sense that if you're falling, that's just an instinct.
How are you going to have wrist control on Justin Gaethje, who is ripping uppercuts? Oh, there's an uppercut coming. Stop, Gaethje.
No, you do it. No, lad, come on. You do it like as you enter into the clinch. If Paddy's the
one entering the clinch or Gaethje is the one initiating the clinch, he throws an uppercut within the first half a second. That is Gaethje's first move. His first move is uppercut, hook. That is what dropped Michael Chandler. He couldn't even throw the hook on Michael Chandler because you already dropped him with the uppercut. He did the exact same thing to Fiziev. He threw the uppercut, went to throw the hook, but he was already dropped. He did the exact same thing against Max Holloway. He threw the hook. He threw the uppercut, sorry. Couldn't even get the hook in time because they're already on their ass. He did the exact same thing against Charles Oliveira, and he doesn't follow them to the ground because he's smart enough. He's still smart enough to know I don't go to the ground with these guys. I'm going to stay on my feet.
All right. Well. I'm glad that you said that, because we'll come back to that one. All right. So you say, oh my God, he clinched and threw the uppercut against, who was it? Chandler, Max, and
Fiziev? Everyone.
All right. But you mentioned those three names, right? And it's like, okay, as soon as Chandler enters that clinch, right, he is not standing upright in that clinch. He's gonna get the single collar. Right?
He does.
He is going.
Upright.
Listen,
That's
right?
How Paddy Pimblett landed the flying knee.
No, but that wasn't it in a clinch. What I'm saying is, if he initiates the clinch, right? The first thing that you learn in grappling when you what is it? Get a single collar, right? Is you drag down and you lower your base and you enter almost like a fucking wrestling stance, right?
For that uppercut.
But you would think that, right? But once but thing is, he's not just. It isn't Paddy that's going down by himself. He's dragging Justin down with him. He's not going to be able to throw an uppercut as he's being dragged down. All right. Let's just say,
are you saying Paddy's going to pull guard? Is that what you're saying?
Not pulling, well, not just pull guard, but what I mean is, like, if you're in a single, I don't know if you've ever like grappled or trained or whatever, but what you do is you kind of like pull down and you like go like almost like your head's digging into like their shoulder and you're like pressing into them and you're dragging them down. He's not going to be able to rip an uppercut if you're dragging him down, because that'll get him off balance. And we've seen him fall over.
When they're on the ground?
When he's on the ground.
We've done this exchange of single collar, pulling Gaethje to the ground. Gaethje's on top, Paddy's on bottom. Now what?
Well, no, that's the thing.
Time and time again, Justin Gaethje goes from here to straight back up.
Here's the thing. You don't pull him on top here. He's not pulling guard. He's almost going, he's dragging him down into like a turtle. Position, and then and then what he could do from there, right? Because he's great at jiu-jitsu and grappling on the floor in general, he'll circle around, right? He'll tab his leg, and he'll just do what he did to Michael Chandler when he got him down on the side, boom, boom, boom. But let's just say that none of that happens, right? And Gaethje knocks him down, right? You said yourself. I'm not going to follow this guy to the floor because I know that I can't grapple with him. All right. Yeah. Then what happened against Charles when he didn't take that? Well, he knocked him down. What happened when he didn't? Yeah. And what happened in that fight? The two times he dropped him. He didn't fall into the ground to finish it off, and he fucking paid for it. It's the same thing with Jalen Turner. That elite win over Dan Hooker. He dropped Moicano, right? Wanted the flash fucking walk-off KO. Didn't want to go down because Moikan's also good at jiu-jitsu. And then what happens? You know, these guys, like, they can drop them, but if they don't follow them to the ground, right? If they don't follow them to the ground and try and do some ground and pound, they could just miss an opportunity to win the fight. And he did that against Charles twice.
Level of striker. Paddy is nowhere near the same level of striker of Charles Oliveira. He has nothing even close to Charles.
No, I know.
So what's your point? I don't understand what your point is that, yeah, he can drop Charles, let Charles come back up, and yes, he did pay for it because Charles is still an elite level striker who actually still hits hard. Paddy is not an elite level striker, and Paddy doesn't hit hard.
Well, what I would say to that is, you thought the same thing. I know what you're going to say. Well, Michael Chandler's a big dum-dum, and so's Gaethje. Let's not act like, I don't know why you're acting like Gaethje's this fucking genius, right? Because he's not. He's not a genius.
Smarter than Paddy. He's smarter than Paddy. I'm not even joking. Paddy Pimblett is I'm sorry.
He's smarter than Paddy.
Yeah. Because we've seen him be smarter.
No, he's not smarter than Paddy.
I know it didn't work. We saw him against Tony Ferguson. When Justin Gaethje fights smart, he does have success. Dustin Poirier.
He's smarter than Paddy.
He is. Paddy's dumb.
Paddy's not
both
dude.
Are dumb. I'm not saying either guy is smart. Neither guy is smart.
You literally said that he came in with a
few more brain cells than Paddy.
Nah. I don't think Gaethje's a smarter fighter, or like smarter than what Paddy Pimblett is. I mean, you literally said yourself that Gaethje was really smart in the Max Holloway fight for 10 minutes, and then he got dumb and then got beat up for the rest of the fight because he got frustrated and he got a bit angry and he let his emotions take over. He let his emotions take over and he got frustrated and then he fought like a dumb cunt because that's what Gaethje does. It's like, if you're that smart of a fighter, you're not going to let your emotions take over and then just
Paddy's emotions take over
and then get slumped.
And playing the victim.
You what? Sorry.
We've seen Paddy Pimblett recently have his emotions take over and play the victim.
What's that? Oh, what in the with the Dan Hooker stuff?
Yeah, playing victim.
Well, yeah, but that's not in like a fight though, is it? Like that's just, yeah, but I'm talking about like fighting though. I'm not on about like getting offended by shit or like that's been said. I'm on about like Gaethje gets frustrated and then he goes, "That's it. I'm gonna throw the game plan out the window."
Yes. But when have we ever seen? Well, how can we see Paddy get Gaethje frustrated? It's moving laterally. You have to move laterally to beat Justin Gaethje. Paddy Pimblett doesn't do that.
But you don't though, do you?
What? You kind of have to.
I mean, you don't, though, do you?
Gaethje, you have to move laterally. That's why Fiziev won the first fight. That's why Max Holloway beat him. That's why Charles Oliveira beat him. Moving laterally fucks up Justin Gaethje's brain.
Right, but we've seen I'm not comparing Justin to Khabib, but we've seen people that aren't too good on the feet beat Justin Gaethje.
Say that again. Sorry. I zoned out there.
What I'm saying is Khabib's like not this type of guy that moves laterally and is this great striker, but he was still able to fucking submit Justin Gaethje, and I'm not comparing the two because obviously that'd be stupid. But you're saying the only way you beat Gaethje is by doing this one thing that someone beat him by not doing, and it's like, well, no.
It is the easiest, the most simple way to beat Justin Gaethje.
Well, yeah, it might be, but it's not the only way, is it?
It is. It's not mine. It is. The way to beat Justin Gaethje is moving laterally. That's why Max Holloway did it. That's what Fiziev did. Poirier did it in moments in their first fight because Gaethje would just be ripping leg kicks and Poirier would start moving laterally and he would start landing bigger and better shots. Yeah,
but you've just said that it's the easiest way, not the only way. And then I said, all right, so it's not the only way then. And then you say, well, yeah, it is. Huh?
I could say what Khabib did, where he gets a double leg, gets him down, and submits him. Like because it's mixed martial arts, there's like 50,000 ways that you can win a fight, but the most simple way that will work, as we've seen, is moving laterally.
Maybe. Well, what I'm saying is it's not
the only way. Maybe it is.
Right, but it's not the only way. That's what I'm saying. But you're saying like This is it.
It's like we're fucking 80% there and 85% there.
This is the only way to do it, guys. Apart from the one time when that wasn't the case, because I'm gonna
one of the best wrestlers we've ever seen in the sport.
I know, and like I said, I'm not comparing the two, right? But we don't really know how good Paddy is in terms of like the top 5 guys, because he hasn't fought any of them. Like this could be like an Umar thing, you know, going up against Corey Sandhagen. You know, no, Umar fights nobodies, right? Umar fights nobodies. He then gets a bump up to number 2 contender. People go, "What the fuck? Who the hell's this guy beat?" And he beats Corey Sandhagen, and then everyone goes, "Oh shit, this guy's like really good." But people were like bigging up Umar, and everyone was saying, "This guy's just beating cans and cans and this and that." Same going into the Merab fight, people going, "This guy, you know, Merab's gonna fucking dominate this guy," and you know, because all he's beating is cans, and he took 2 rounds off of Merab. I think he took the first 2. He took the first 2. Guys, chat. Did Umar win the first round or rounds 1 and 2?
People don't like.
Come on, guys, chat.
49-46 Merab. 49-46.
Back me up. It wasn't 46. It wasn't 40. No, it was 48-47, bro. 48-47. He took 2. Merab won 3-2. Thank you. Learn facts. There we go. Keep this one coming, guys. Merab 5-0. That's a bit crazy.
It was 49-46. It was 49-46.
Either way, right? Either way, you know, people said, you know, Umar wants on a chance against this guy and that guy, and he's like, oh, okay, you know, who's he beat and this and that, and it's like, okay, but you can say the same thing for Chandler, even your guy Vex, bro, 3-2, Merab. I'm your biggest fan, but it was
Vex has some screws loose. Vex is incredible, but he has some screws loose.
Oh, War Horse, all right, yes, Vex, thank you very much. Coming over to my channel and fucking disagreeing with War Horse, that's what I'd see. Anyway, but my point is, right, Paddy Pimblett, we don't actually know how good he is and how well he stacks up against you know, guys like Gaethje, because like he's never fought anyone like Gaethje. So who's to say that Paddy isn't one of the best grapplers in the lightweight division's history? And it's like,
we know he's not.
Say, you know, we haven't seen it. We haven't seen it, but I mean, what he did to Bobby Green was impressive. What he did to Bobby Green,
early in the sport, we've seen how good they are. Charles Oliveira, Habib Nurmagomedov, GSP, DC. We've seen these guys when they first come into the sport, how elite their grappling is. Doesn't matter who it's against. We know how elite they are already. Whereas for Paddy, who have we really seen him show elite grappling against?
Well, this is the Umar argument, though, isn't it? It's like, you know, he goes in there against Merab, and people go, "This guy's who's he even done this to?" Like fucking cans, and then he does really well early, and people go, "Oh wait, this guy's actually really good." It could be a case, and you can admit that this is the case, right? With some fighters, the level of opponent that you fight improves how you perform, if you know what I mean by that. It's like,
say that again, sorry.
I don't know how to. I'm gonna try and word it as simple as I can. Tell me if it makes sense. Some fighters, right? If they fight a higher level guy, they perform much better. Than if they fight an absolute can. I mean, a great example of this, right, is Tyson Fury, and I know it's a boxing thing, right? Are you going to bed? No. So Tyson Fury, right? I don't know if you watch boxing an awful lot. He lost to, so he fought this guy called Otto Warlin, right? And he was supposed to be this just this tune-up fight bomb for him to just run through. They made this stupid fucking gimmicky belt for it, and I think Otto Warlin beat him, and he opened a really nasty cut, and they didn't stop the fight because the WBC didn't want this random cunt to hold this fancy belt and be the champion, right? He looks shit against Warlin, right? But then he goes in there against like Usyk, and although he lost, I think he looked really good in there. It's the same sort of thing, you know. This could be the same case with Paddy Pimblett, and you know we've seen it with like Michael Johnson. he's the same. You know, he fights these top level guys, he does really well. He fights bums, he gets fucking flatlined or whatever.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah, we might not have seen Paddy do really well against these lower level guys. I mean, he's beating them and he submitted Bobby Green inside a round and he, dominated Chandler. But it might be the case of if he fights Gaethje, someone that's like game, and he's like, you know, he is good as Gaethje. I'm not saying that he's shit or anything like that. We might see a case of like extra motivation, you know. Him being really good will push Paddy to be even better. That sort of thing. And I feel like the argument of who's he really done that to, I think it's going to go away. In fact, no, it won't, because people will just say, well, Justin's old and washed and he doesn't really count still and this and that.
The problem with this fight is that if Gaethje wins, it's just against another up and comer in Paddy Pimblett, and there's nothing really to do with it. Whereas if Paddy wins, it's a washed, it's an old, it's a this, it's a that, Justin Gaethje.
Yeah.
So it's actually a lose-lose for both men. Like, they get an interim belt, but I think we can all agree that both of them lose to Arman and Elia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But both of them lose no matter what to those two. But I just don't see how Paddy can win. Because my biggest thing, right, as well, is the cardio, right? Because I know you talked about it earlier with Khamzat Chimaev and his cardio, where the biggest reason why Khamzat and his cardio looked so good against DDP is that you look at him early in his career where he will be a guy that just goes out there and throws everything in that first round. Whereas against DDP, he didn't throw everything. You see it in the stats where he threw, 500 odd strikes, 20 odd significant. So even just control time in Crucifix, wherever, just control overall isn't super cardio-esque. It won't gas you out as much as people think it will. Where I do believe that Khamzat's cardio, I still think it's questionable. I still believe that it is very, very questionable from Khamzat Chimaev. But my biggest thing with Khamzat is that his cardio looks so good against DDP because he wasn't doing that much. Whereas a Paddy Pimblett, he doesn't do that much and he still looks tired. Hold on, let me read this. Sorry, Seymour says 9211. What I think Bromo is trying to say is it takes the right dance partner to make a fight show how great they are or how great they can be. And the better the dance partner, the better the performance. I get that, but I think it's to a certain extent, right? Because I watched Pantoja against Kaya Sakura. Kaya Sakura is kind of dog shit. I watched Tim Elliott fuck him up, but I still saw how good Pantoja was. Where it doesn't really matter. Like, yes, a dance partner matters. Like, I could talk about Israel Adesanya's whole career and say that he didn't have the right dance partner until a Gaslam or a Whitaker or a Paulo Costa, a DDP, a fucking Whitaker. Like, the right dance partner does bring the best out of you, and I do agree. But sometimes it's not that deep and it doesn't matter. And a lot of the time it doesn't matter.
I'm not saying this is the same for every person, but some people do perform on this. And like I said, we see it with Michael Johnson. It's a whole meme. You know, when Michael Johnson fights the best fighters, he's like top level. And then when he fights someone shit, he's terrible. You know, it's a whole thing. And it's not the same for everyone. I mean, some people are just that good and they are just good against anyone, like a Pantoja or a Habib, you know, where he's just like levels above the guys that he's fighting to the point where it doesn't matter. But some people do need that dance partner to really bring the best out of them. And I'm not saying Paddy is like that. I'm saying it could be the case that he is. And we might see that on Saturday against Gaethje.
The biggest thing with Paddy is it's a whole bunch of if, buts, and maybes. That's all it is. Can Paddy do
it is with Gaethje, though. Yeah, but it is with Gaethje. Yeah, but it is with Gaethje. Like, if Gaethje's got this much power to crack, if Gaethje can crack Paddy's chin,
the only thing that matters with Gaethje is that he's not old. If Gaethje shows up at, I'd say 80 to 85%, he will win. 80% Gaethje maybe makes it quite close. Anything 81 and above percent beats Paddy. That's how good Gaethje is. I know we like to shit on him because he is a we say his power's overrated, his cardio's overrated, his chin's overrated. We can say all this. He's still got incredible wins. Like a win over Tony, a win over Poirier. They're still very good wins.
Yeah, they are very good wins. Yeah.
Whereas for Paddy, we're saying Paddy's striking defense is dog shit. Paddy's striking offense is dog shit. Paddy's wrestling is overrated. Paddy's jiu-jitsu is great. We know it's good. Is it a Charles Oliveira? Absolutely not. We know it's not. But I'm looking at guys like Paddy and who he's fought compared to guys like Gaethje, even on their come up, purely on their come up. Like let's look at Gaethje's Paddy's first 5 opponents. Like Venedram, Vargas, Jordan Levitt, Jared Gordon, Tony Ferguson. Whereas I look at Gaethje's first 5 UFC opponents, Michael Johnson, first fight he gets a ranked opponent. Justin Gaethje's first fight, he gets a ranked opponent in Michael Johnson.
Yeah, but so did Michael Chandler, though.
The thing with Michael Chandler, though, is Michael Chandler was already a big name, and we were same with Gaethje. They're already big names. Whereas Paddy Pimblett, he's coming on Cage Warriors, and how many times did he fight? Like even on Cage, what was his record on Cage Warriors? 11-3. Actually, not that bad. But to then get signed, like he loses his last fight in Cage Warriors, and then a lot of canceled fights. And then he wins 2 in Cage Warriors, then gets signed to the UFC. But I'm looking at the guys that Paddy's doing it against, and I'm not blown away. As a prospect, I should be blown away by your first few performances.
Yeah, I understand that. Yeah. But
if I want to be excited about you and I want to be hyped up around you, I would expect something to be blown away. Like I look at a guy like Adrian Yanez. Do you know Adrian Yanez, the striker? He was a boxer. No, not a boxer. He was UFC fighter, Adrian Yanez. I watched him in a lot of his come up. Incredible. He then goes and fights Rob Font at whatever the Pineda Adesanya 2 card is. What was that? Like UFC 280, so whatever it was. On that card, I can't even remember. But whatever it was. On that card, he fights Rob Font. He fights someone, a vet, that knows what he's doing, has a bit of fight IQ, not the best striker bantamweight, not the best cardio guy bantamweight, not the best shit at bantamweight, but he's got the tools to beat you. And he did. And he knocked him out. Whereas I look at Gaethje, Gaethje has all the tools to beat Paddy. We are relying on Justin Gaethje being older, being slower, having his chin gone, having the staph infection on his neck be a factor. That's what we're relying on.
No, we're not.
Why aren't we?
Because we're not. I haven't even.
Why though? Because we're not. Why?
Well, I'll fucking get into it, mate. All right. Listen. I'm not coming in like, look, Gaethje's going to lose because he's old. Gaethje's going to lose because he got staph infection. I don't think I mentioned the staph infection, or I've said he's an unk, but I've not used that as a reason why he's going to lose. Yeah. My reasoning for Paddy winning this fight, it's just because Gaethje, I just feel like he is just a. Like I said, he's just a brawler, man. And you say you have all these criticisms for Paddy Pimblett, or he does this bad, he does this bad, he does this bad. I've not actually heard you criticize Gaethje once. I can get
into the cons of Justin Gaethje right now if you really.
I have. Look, we have been going for 2 hours. I have criticized Paddy's striking, his striking defense. I have been open and I've admitted that this guy's weak in some areas. All you've done is been like, yeah, but Gaethje, man, he's fucking this and that. It's like, well, why don't you just criticize him a little bit, But this is the thing, Paddy's wrestling is overrated. So
it is.
Gaethje's, yeah. So
no one rates Gaethje's wrestling though. He has a background in collegiate level wrestling. That's his background, collegiate level wrestling.
But people bring it up whenever. Anything. Yeah, but people always bring, and I'm not saying you, but people bring it up, right? When they're trying to whenever people go, Gaethje's this, he's this fucking brawler, and it's like, okay, yeah, but he can wrestle though as well. It's like, no, he can't. Fuck off,
But his scrambling's incredible. He's one of the best scramblers in the sport.
And fucking, Rogan brings it up. DC will bring it up, and Rogan will bring it up. Gaethje, man,
fucking idiot.
He's actually a wrestler, dude. He's actually a fucking wrestler, dude.
Commentary. Get DC off commentary, and make Brendan Fitzgerald a pinned guy on it. I need Brendan Fitzgerald. I need more Brendan Fitzgerald. I fucking love Brendan Fitzgerald.
I know. I saw your video where you were glazing the shit out of him. I was like,
I love him. Brendan Fitzgerald's the best commentator, and I will die on that hill. But I would love a no commentary option. I would love no commentary.
Oh yeah. That would be great. But what was I saying?
Gaethje cons.
But
I can go over the Gaethje cons.
One of Gaethje's like huge cons is that he puts everything behind everything, and it's like,
but he doesn't. He doesn't.
Listen, but when he does, all right, and he fucking misses, he fucking spins around, he falls over. It's like just not everything's like a precise. You know, he's like an Elio Tuporia.
The last time we saw that from Gaethje was years ago against Charles Oliveira, after already dropping him twice.
Right, let's hear some cons then, because I haven't actually heard you say any cons yet.
I can go over. I got 2 pages of cons for Justin Gaethje. He's older, slower, chinny, and this is make or break for him. We all kind of know that this is make or break for Justin Gaethje. You win, you're headlining the White House against Ilia Topuria or Arman Strukin. You just are. If you lose, you're retiring. So there is a lot on the line for him. But we can say the same. There's a lot on the line for Paddy Pimblett. This is kind of his big break moment. But we've talked about this already. Gaethje has a trend to dip to the right when he's defending. We've already gone over that, so Paddy could read on that. Like I said, ending his combination with kicks. He loves to be in the pocket / clinch, which does leave his hips exposed, where if Paddy does want to shoot for a takedown, he can. Could Gaethje obviously land an uppercut or land a knee or something? Absolutely. But his hips are exposed when he goes in the pocket. Gaethje likes to brawl, which does... it's not that he does. He likes to. Justin Gaethje would rather be in a brawl than in a technical striking fight. He just would. It's not that he does. He would prefer to, because he will most likely win that exchange 9 out of 10 times. He's either the smartest or the dumbest fighter on the planet. You see him against Tony Ferguson, has a perfect game plan, executes it perfectly, piece him up. Or we see him against Charles Oliveira, where he becomes dumb and loses brain cells as the fight goes on. But we can say with Michael Chandler, where he started off quite dumb with a bit of ring rust in that first round, goes out in rounds 2 and 3 and actually wins those rounds and drops him. If something isn't telegraphed, Gaethje is sometimes too stimulated. Like with Max Holloway, where it's similar to Brandon Royval, where Max Holloway will just throw for the sake of throwing, to land for the sake of landing, just to get his numbers up. Gaethje doesn't like that, because there's too much for him to think about and too much for his brain to come up with, which is why he gets frustrated. Similar to Charles Oliveira. Charles is jumping a fucking flying guillotine and pulling guard against him. Gaethje's like, what the fuck? I don't like that. So it makes him think too much. But Gaethje also hates being the one to look to land. He hates being the guy that is, where do I go? Where am I going to land my shots? This guy's landed, this guy's up 5 strikes on me. I need to get those 5 strikes back. Where do I find them, rather than being the guy that is up? Similar to the Max Holloway fight. Gaethje struggles with lateral movement. We've been over this with the Max Holloway fight. He viewed the Holloway fight as an exhibition match. That could be cope. I don't really know. I think it is just...
It's definitely cope. Definitely cope.
It is pure cope. Viewing it as an exhibition match, I don't like that at all. I don't like that at all. Gaethje also has a questionable striking defense in moments and sometimes relies on his chin. We saw it against Eddie Alvarez and Charles Oliveira, where he can land, he can take a strike where sometimes he actually can't. And he goes chicken leg. And Gaethje's cons, which is the big thing, but this is the biggest difference with Paddy Pimblett's cons and Justin Gaethje's cons. Justin Gaethje's cons don't interlink. They don't interlink. They are individual cons that make him a worse fighter. Whereas Paddy Pimblett's cons all tie in together, which just makes him bad.
So what do you mean? So you have to explain that. So you think Gaethje's cons? Are you saying like they never interlink? So he only shows one con per fight?
No. It's that all of those things that I said don't just entirely interlink. Like Gaethje being a brawler and Gaethje looking to land, 2 different things. Gaethje struggling with lateral movement and being a brawler, 2 different things. Gaethje having questionable striking defense and being a brawler does interlink, but that's just him being a brawler. But Gaethje being smart and dumb and being a brawler don't interlink. Whereas I can get onto Paddy. Let me find where I actually wrote that, because I know I wrote it here. Paddy tends to stand straight back. That's another big thing. Paddy has to replicate Max Holloway's movement. Question mark. Paddy's chin is super high. He has a good chin, but relies on it too much. Jared Gordon, Michael Chandler fight. Paddy has super sus cardio. Tony was winning round 3 and Paddy had to grapple. Paddy has also shown awful striking accuracy. But Gaethje does this too, but it's different. All of Paddy's striking cons go hand in hand. Having an awful chin, awful accuracy, and being a brawler. You cannot be...
Sorry, hold on. Awful chin, or do you mean awful defense?
Chin/defense. Like, I'm tying it together, whereas he has awful defense and relies on his chin.
Okay.
You can't do that against Gaethje. You just can't. His chin is incredible and relies on it, but his defense is also bad. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Great chin, awful defense, relies on the chin. Awful striking accuracy, and he does brawl. Gaethje doesn't really fight smart that often. Oh, sorry,
yeah, but here's the thing, right? So yeah, but you said so one of Gaethje's cons is that he has bad striking defense, right?
In moments.
Yeah, but that was one of his cons. So it's like he may have terrible striking defense, but let's just say Paddy striking.
Paddy has awful striking accuracy.
Right, yeah, but he has, but it's like if Gaethje's defense is terrible, that's like the whole thing of like not just blocks, but like head movements and shit like that. Paddy can throw jabs and straights and shit like that. He's not like
no defense behind it. His hands are at his hips.
Yeah, that's true, but that's different to being able to land shots. That's being defensively unsound. But what I'm saying is, if you're saying here that Gaethje's got terrible striking defense, and he relies on his chin.
Not terrible. It's just bad. It's not bad. Paddy's is worse.
Well, yeah, it is. But I'd say Paddy's got a better chin than Justin, though, so he can afford to have worse striking defense because his chin's better. We come back to
that same topic of you have a good chin until you have a good chin.
Well, yeah. Well, you can say. Well, this is what I'm saying. You can say that about anything, though. But from what we've seen up until this point, all things would point to Paddy having a better chin than Gaethje, right?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
But
so
Gaethje hits harder than anyone Paddy's fought.
Yeah. That is true.
The most technical striker that he'll fight.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like you've heard Charles say things like, Gaethje's the hardest guy that's ever punched me, and then he's getting flatlined by Ilya. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh shit, my dog's just turned off the camera. I'll scare you, fucking knob.
Here's how I view it, right? Yes, Ilya has that one-header quitter where it doesn't even matter there's a jiu-jitsu background. Ilya just hits like a fucking truck. So does Gaethje, but they're two different types of power. Ilya's power and Gaethje's power is two different things. Well, I could come to the same topic with Ilya, where you look at the Bryce Mitchell fight, where Bryce Mitchell's ducking and getting out of it, and Ilya is completely throwing his body weight into his punch. We saw it against Volkanovski. He knocked out Volk with that left hook, but is throwing his whole body weight into it.
Yeah, I agree that there's different power. This is what I'm saying, though. It doesn't always... If the case is that Justin hits harder in terms of like it hurts more, but Ilya's got that knockout power, then it doesn't really matter how hard Justin hits to an extent, because he could hit as hard as he wants. He might not knock out Paddy. I mean, he might rock him. Look, it's the same with Charles, Charles says he's the hardest guy that's ever punched me. He didn't knock him out clean, though. So in a way, it might not even matter. It might just hurt. It doesn't mean he's going to knock Paddy out because he's the hardest hitter that Paddy's fought, because he was the hardest hitter that Charles fought, but he didn't knock him out. Ilya did that. So it's like, yeah, I mean, Gaethje might be the hardest hitter that Paddy's ever fought, but it also doesn't mean that Paddy's chin won't hold up, because from everything that we've seen, I mean, the closest guy to Gaethje that Paddy's fought is Michael Chandler, and we can only go off of that. But he hits fucking hard. I mean, that Dan Hooker guy that you rate so highly, because you got to win over.
I rated him. I said that I'm biased towards him.
You were.
I started the conversation by saying I am biased towards Dan Hooker.
I know, but you still fucking, man, he beat Jalen Turner, man. Who fucking does that to Jalen Turner apart from loads of people? But it's like, Michael Chandler's, knocking out Dan Hooker. Who, yes, you're biased towards, but you obviously still rate highly or whatever. Because you also said, no, that Dan Hooker's decent. Like he is good.
Yeah,
you did say that. Chandler was able to flatline. Well, I don't remember. I can't remember. No. Either way, he was able to knock out Dan Hooker. But he wasn't able to knock out Paddy Pimblett. He wasn't able to knock out Paddy Pimblett, and it's the same sort of thing. Like, well, he knocked out this guy. He's got really good power, but then when he fights Paddy, Paddy eats it. I think it's probably the same thing with Gaethje. Gaethje's going to have good power. I think Gaethje will land some good shots. I'm not saying Gaethje's going to not have success. I just don't. I think Gaethje's real path to victory here is to get probably a knockout.
And Paddy has to get the fight to the ground. Has to.
Yeah. I think Paddy wins the fight either on the ground or he'll catch Justin as he's looping down here, as he's ducking down, and then he'll get it to the ground that same way. But I don't think Paddy's going to beat him. The biggest thing is that
Gaethje's scrambles are so good that he can get back up. And even when they do get sweaty, because the fight is going to go, I think it's going to go longer than a round, no matter what. No matter who wins, I think we're going to see a second round. I think I can kind of strongly go on that even if Paddy wins, I don't see him getting a first round finish. I just don't. I can't see, unless Gaethje is an absolute idiot and does what Bobby Green does and kind of like shot for a takedown, or does something incredibly stupid and shoots a takedown or tries to get the fight to the ground, Paddy will get a first-round submission. I do believe he will. If Gaethje fights incredibly dumb. But I don't think he's going to, because this is a big moment for Justin Gaethje. This is make or break, where we have seen it before where it was make or break. I look at the Dustin Poirier fight, right, where after Justin Gaethje won the first Fizzy fight, he won the first Fizzy fight, goes in the post-fight interview, and he says, I am having one last run at the title. Okay, go and fight Dustin Poirier. And he fights Dustin Poirier. That, in my opinion, was make or break really for both men. I thought Dustin Poirier was going to retire when he actually got head kick KO. And for Gaethje, if you would have lost Dustin Poirier, he would have retired. So we've already seen Justin Gaethje in a make or break fight against Dustin Poirier, and he head kick KO'd him. He looked the best he's ever been as of recently. So I know it is make or break, and there's a lot on the line for Justin Gaethje. But for Paddy Pimblett, this is his biggest fight. This is his biggest moment. This is his opportunity. And I think the only reason he's actually gaining this title shot is because he did his face-to-face with Ilia Topuria, where if that didn't happen, I just don't think he even gets a title shot in the first place. He hasn't done enough. He hasn't done enough for me to actually say, I believe in Paddy Pimblett. There's nothing I've seen. Whereas for Gaethje, I have watched Justin Gaethje throughout his career and go, there are glimpses of something there. You're not a Charles Oliveira. You're not an Islam Makhachev. You're not a Khabib Nurmagomedov. But there's something. There's something there that can say you can beat Paddy Pimblett. You have fought jiu-jitsu guys. You have fought grapplers before. You fought the who's who of lightweight. You know what to do. You just need to execute it. If Gaethje shows up at 80%, he will win. And make it look easy. It won't be close.
What? So you think he's going to finish him in the second? Is that what you said?
Third round. I have Gaethje by third round TKO.
All right. Well, I think what we'll do now is, because we've been going for nearly 2.5 hours here.
Damn.
Yeah, I think we'll do some closings. We'll just do, again, 3-minute closing. I hope you've all enjoyed this stream. It's been pretty busy by the looks of things. So thank you all.
Before we give our last 3 minutes, I just want to do this. Who do you have for the rest of the main card?
Let me get it up. Hold on a second. Let me get up the card. I've got O'Malley by decision. I know you don't. I don't think. I've got Waldo. I've got Silva, and I've got Silva.
I really want Allen to win. I really want Allen to win. It'll be one of the most biased I've ever been.
Oh yeah. Oh, dude. Like, I mean, look. I mean, he's from the UK. I mean, I would love it if Arnold Allen beat the shit out of the good guy Gene Silva. But I think Gene Silva's just that good. Although he is, he is what he is. I think he is very, very good. But yeah.
All right. Do you want to go first for your 3 minutes? Because I opened it with my 3. So do you want to go first or me to go first again?
I don't really mind, dude. Let me just get it up first. 3-minute timer, and then I just want to ask you what we've done this about Khalil calling out Yuri for a rematch.
Pulling out Yuri for a
I
rematch.
do want to get your thoughts on that, and then we'll call it.
All
right. So my 3 minutes. So basically, Warhorse came into this debate, right? And until I kind of prompted him to criticize Gaethje, it sounded like he was saying, "There's no way Gaethje will lose to Paddy because he's just perfect and he does this and this and this and and it's like, oh, well, yeah, he does. He has been really, really good. I just think that as an all-round fighter at this stage, I don't really see it. And he talks about things like Paddy Pimblett's cardio that has been shown to improve anyway. All right, talk about his striking, even though he hurt Michael Chandler on the feet to get the finishing sequence. And even with his defense, I agree that that's terrible, but his chin is really good from what we've seen. Can Justin crack it? Who knows? All right, just to say it like he definitely will. We haven't seen anything to suggest that. He's not even been really wobbled, seriously wobbled. Like he's been forced to take a step back with some shots that he's been landed on, but he's never really been wobbled. And I do feel like Paddy Pimblett, when he gets in these clinch, fuck off. When he gets in the clinch, Paddy's not a stupid fighter. He's not going to get in the pocket and go toe to toe, brawling with Gaethje. If he gets close to Gaethje, he's hooking the body. He's jumping for arm bars, triangles. All right, this sort of stuff. He's not going to go in there and be like, right, let's fucking go, Gaethje. He's not fucking thick, all right? And I know Warhorse wants to say that Gaethje's smarter than Paddy Pimblett in terms of fight IQ. I really don't think so. I mean, like I say, we've seen Gaethje slip and fall. We've seen Gaethje against Max Holloway lose his temper, as Warhorse has even admitted that he was clever for two rounds, and then he got all emotional and let it all go for the last three. But he's still really clever for some reason, I guess. I think Paddy Pimblett will win this fight via submission in rounds 2 or 3. But I think all the pressure is on Paddy, though, regardless of who wins. If Paddy loses, he's going to be the laughing stock. If he wins, I mean, like we said earlier, it's a lose-lose. But yeah, I've got Paddy, man. Submission rounds 2 or 3. All right, I will. I just want to just before you give yours. Vex is just. This stream is genuinely the greatest.
Vex is genuinely one of the best guys that I've ever interacted with. He runs my Discord. He does everything for me. He's the goat. I love Vex. All
right, shout out Vex, man. This stream is genuinely the great. This stream is genuinely the greatest stream I've ever watched. Bromo, War Horse, y'all are awesome.
Everyone needs a Vex in their life. You know what I mean? Like when someone says, "I need blank," you need a Vex. Vex will do everything.
All right, Seymour Asses is he from you? Seymour Asses?
See, I don't recognize the name.
I don't think it's from me. I don't recognize the name. It's been a fun stream to decompress after a long day at work. Well, I'm glad you've all enjoyed this stream, and thank you all the Warhorse guys that have come over. I mean, like I said earlier, I've been a Warhorse guy since Left Right Good Night, so I can say I've been there pre 1K subs, which is I've been an OG fan.
Big claim. It's a big claim to have. I'll tell you that.
It is. I mean, people forget, man. Left Right Good Night. He was a marauder, dude. He was a marauder in his fucking speedos.
Back in my heyday. Back in my prime. I'm out of my prime now.
Right, let's 3 minutes, close statement, and then we'll just 10 minutes on the Khalil thing because I do need to go to bed. Yeah. It's 11:30 in the evening where I am. So
you dog.
I know. Right. Well,
I saw Tottenham Hotspur one as well. I haven't watched the Champions League game, but I saw Tottenham 1-2-0 against Borussia Dortmund. Anyway, I'll do my 3 minutes. Sorry, I need to glaze Tottenham. We're shit, so I have to do the best I can. Now look, Gaethje versus Paddy. Love the matchmaking. It's a fun fight. I'd love to see Arman in it, but it is what it is. This is Gaethje's retirement fight. There is a lot on the line for Gaethje, but I think there's more on the line for Paddy. A lot more pressure. This is your big moment. This is your time to shine, and I think he is going to crumble under pressure. Now, we haven't seen that, but we have a little bit in Cage Warriors. We have seen him get dropped in Cage Warriors. We've seen him wrestle in Cage Warriors, which don't do in the UFC anymore, which is a little bit weird. I don't really understand why, but I look at Justin Gaethje. Incredible boxer. Lots of knockout power. Decent fight IQ. One of the best scramblers in the sport. He can win this fight on the feet because every fight starts on the feet. I look at a guy like Paddy Pimblett. If Paddy Pimblett wants to win, you must get the fight to the ground. Can Paddy get the fight to the ground? Well, you've got to take him down first. Justin Gaethje was... Khabib Nurmagomedov was struggling to take down Justin Gaethje. If that doesn't say how good Justin Gaethje is, I don't know what does. Incredible takedown defense. Great scrambling ability. He will do flips and shit. Great cardio. Decent chin. My only worry for Gaethje is that he isn't his old self. His prime. The Gaethje that once was. He is older. He's a little bit slow. He's not the same. But if Gaethje shows up at 80%, bit of pop in his shot, decent game plan, good enough for a game plan, defend the takedowns, do whatever it takes to not get the fight to the ground. Keep the fight on the feet. If you get in any exchange on the ground, put everything into getting back up. Do what you did against Charles. If you drop Paddy, because Paddy's a great chin, awful striking defense. If you can hurt Paddy, drop Paddy, do not follow him. And Gaethje, yes, Gaethje does dip to the right. Gaethje's striking defense isn't that good. But you know who else doesn't have great offense? Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett's striking offense and striking accuracy sucks. Whereas Justin Gaethje has individual cons. What makes Justin Gaethje bad is this, and this, and this, and this, and this. Whereas for Paddy, he has awful accuracy, striking accuracy, awful striking defense, awful fight IQ, awful this, awful that, and that all intertwines as to what makes Paddy Pimblett a bad fighter. Whereas Justin Gaethje has a lot more pros. Justin Gaethje is this. Justin Gaethje doesn't have this. Justin Gaethje is this. Justin Gaethje doesn't have that. Whereas I look at Paddy Pimblett. Paddy Pimblett doesn't know what he's doing half the time. I look at Justin Gaethje or against Michael Chandler, where he puts his back against the fence. Paddy Pimblett moves very laterally, where he moves backwards or he moves forwards. That is all Paddy does. He will get his back against the fence and go, I'm going to throw an uppercut, then a hook if you get
15 seconds.
Justin Gaethje is one of the best clinch strikers in this sport, and he has so much power. Beautiful uppercuts. Give me Justin Gaethje for a third-round TKO. Uppercut, calls Paddy up, doesn't get back up. Motherfucker's out cold. Third-round TKO, Justin Gaethje.
Thank you, Warhorse. All right. I also put a poll in for Paddy versus Justin. Who wins? 40. We have 127 votes.
Damn.
46% for Gaethje, 54 for Pimblett. So
close, you know, like I know Justin Gaethje is the underdog. I think he's like a plus 200 underdog. It's still crazy to see it like that. Like it's almost 50-50. Like what, a 47-53. Like that's still pretty close.
When I voted on the UFC poll that they put on their community post, I think Gaethje was in the lead. So
really, I think more people want Gaethje to win. It's better for the sport if Paddy wins. Like it is. Paddy winning is so much better for the sport, but I think more people want to see Gaethje get a finish or get a win.
Yeah. All right. Well, before
325,000 votes. Damn, 54% Gaethje, 46 Pimblett. Damn.
Bromo versus Joey Misfits. Oh, I will fuck that fat cunt up, bro. I swear down. I'll fucking beat the shit out of him. Bromo and Warhorse versus Kenny. I mean, we could tag team him. I mean, I don't think we need to.
Vex, I think you could beat Kenny Okoye.
Hey, yeah, I know what'd be sick though. Me and Warhorse versus Joey and Kenny. I mean, that'd be lit. That'd be a good fight. I mean,
what do you want to talk about? Khalil. And
just Khalil. Just for 10 minutes or so. I want to get your thoughts.
No. I have all the time in the world. But yeah.
What do you think about that? Like Khalil's saying he wants to go again against Yuri. He wants to run it back.
I understand why he's calling out Yuri though, because he won the first 2 rounds. Granted, Yuri had more success in round 2, but Khalil was winning those first 2. He did win the first 2. Then he got gassed out. His cardio was bad. I understand that. I completely get that. But I do look at Khalil and I'm a bit like, I don't understand what the thought process is behind the Yuri rematch. Because Khalil, I hate to admit it, but Khalil's lost a couple times. Khalil actually has some losses on his record and on his resume. I would have loved to have seen a rematch with Johnny Walker, or even like a Jan Blachowicz or Bogdan Guskov. Like the winner of that would have been perfect. I would love to see Magomedov Ankalaev versus Khalil. I think that would be perfect for him. Because I think Magomedov Ankalaev will want a bounce back fight, and he's not going to get a big name. I think we kind of know that Magomedov Ankalaev. No one likes Magomedov Ankalaev. No one does. And I don't think the UFC wants to give him a big name. Like they want to give him an Olberg, a Yuri, like anyone like that status. Do you know what I mean? I feel like Khalil's like that perfect, not a big name, but enough to have people interested.
Yeah,
I think that would have been really opening for Magomedov Ankalaev to take. And I'm obviously going to pick Khalil to win that fight. But I thought that would have worked. I would have loved Azamat, but I would have loved the Johnny Walker rematch because there's a bit of there's momentum from Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker's actually on a bit of a streak, and he's going to fight Dominic Reyes. I think he's going to beat Dominic Reyes. Yeah. And he's going to have even more momentum. And then even if we get a rematch, then I don't want that at all.
No. I mean, I think that I don't think they're going to give Khalil Ank next anyway. I mean, Ank and Yuri are both ranked number 1. I don't think Khalil's going to get number 1 contender after getting slept. I think a good fight for him would be like a Mirzakhanov if he gets past Costa, or like you say, like a Johnny Walker. Khalil was the
stepping stone for Azamat though. Like if he beats Paulo Costa, like I would be looking at someone in the top 5 on a bit of a win streak.
What for Azamat?
Yeah, I know. I actually really like Azamat, but I'm looking at him a bit like Khalil is a big name for him, but I think he's only one. Is he only like 1 ranking behind Khalil? So
I'm going to have a look now. No, so Mirzakhanov's ranked number 6. Jan Blachowicz is number 5.
Jan's kind of done though. Like I'm looking at Jan. I thought Bogdan was going to beat him. I did agree with the draw in that.
Well, here's the thing, right?
I thought Bogdan was going to beat him.
Well, here's the thing with the top 5. You say you want Azamat to get a top 5 guy on a win streak. The only other guy that isn't Khalil Roundtree that's in the top 5, and that isn't Jan Blachowicz, that isn't looking to be booked for a fight. We have Yuri and Carlos Olberg. The only other guy that isn't Roundtree is Ankalaev. I don't know if Mirzakhanov gets an Ankalaev fight if he beats.
I know there was rumors of that. Oh, where was it? Somewhere in the bias area of Russian fighters, they were doing I heard there was a pay-per-view happening there in like May, and that was going to be Islam Kamaru Usman. That's what a lot of the rumors were. I remember seeing a lot of rumors.
What do you think of that one?
Of Islam Usman, I hate it. I don't understand the thought process. I think Ian Gary is the only guy that should get a title shot.
Yeah.
I think it should only be Ian Gary. I think that's the only thing that actually makes sense. And I know I hate it, but it's actually the only guy that is deserving of a title. Like Shavkat's been out for so long. I can't give Morales or Prates a shot. Like Prates especially, he's lost to Ian Gary. But Michael Morales has 1 good win, and it's Sean Brady. Like, how much do we rank a Gilbert Burns win nowadays? I know we look at JDM, but Gilbert Burns was beating JDM.
Yeah.
And he landed that knee, obviously. Like I hate Islam versus Usman. I really do. But coming back to Khalil, the hard thing for me is that I think Khalil is completely out of the title picture. Like he's out of it now. He's out of the title picture.
Yeah.
He's kind of out of everything. So it's like you've got some losses. I want those losses turned back. Your Johnny Walker is the most obvious answer because it is a big name as well that can headline a fight night. Like people would tune into Khalil versus Johnny Walker at any time. So I would love that. I want Khalil versus the winner of Reyes Walker. I think that would make sense for him.
I think Khalil beats this version of Khalil beats Walker anyway. I mean, easily.
I think Khalil beats almost everyone at light heavyweight.
I also just want to say, MMA hole. Are the fans of your channel called Bromosexuals? Yes, they are. All right, they are all called Bromosexuals. And if you become a member, you are a honorary Bromosexual, and you get a papara, a Habib papara that I put as one of my emojis. I'll put it in the chat right now. Do you have members? I don't think you have members, do you?
No, I don't. I've kind of stood on the, and it sounds I know it's gonna sound like weird, but like I've always done YouTube as just kind of a fun thing. Like, I've never thought about it as a I don't want to say it's a money thing, but I've always kind of been like, if I'm doing YouTube, I'm not asking for donation. I don't want to do members, and if I did do members, I wouldn't do anything different. Like they wouldn't get a bonus video. I wouldn't be doing special live streams. You would just have a title. So I feel like there would be no value in me doing members because they'd get nothing different. And I know people would sign up. I know people would, but I just wouldn't want to.
Well, I mean, I look Jewish, so I need to play into the stereotype. You know what I mean? Like, I need to play into the stereotype of give me all your money. You know.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I agree with the Khalil thing. You know, it's a weird one. I know why he's doing it, because he feels like, because he did win the first two, he could.
Well, he did. He did.
The first two. Well, yeah, he did. Because he won the first two rounds, he probably thinks, I could beat this guy if I really just fucking don't get sloppy, and I want to prove that. But it's like, yeah, maybe if it was like a close, like, you know,
if it went 3 rounds or something,
then yeah, maybe, but not when you're getting bullied and knocked out. I don't think. Nah,
but
I think like
cardio's kind of been always the biggest.
You're in a loss. You know, you're 1 and 2 in your last 3 now. I feel like you need to get. You know, you're at that point where you need to defend your ranking. I think the biggest problem with Khalil was that he got the Alex Pereira title shot, because he shouldn't have gotten the first. I've got it right. I've got it front and center, so I can always have it there whenever I move my head. But it's one of those things where I look back and I'm like, I love that it happened for the sake of Khalil, but I do look at it as like it's made him such a bigger name, and it's made people care more about him. Like he lost, and then he got former champion Jamal Hill, and I like the matchup. Like I understood it, but he went straight from that to Yuri. Like I would have loved like a Jamal or a Jan Blachowicz, and then someone else like an Olberg, and then Yuri. Yeah, like he just kind of got put up the rankings and put up super high because he did the best good performance against Alex. Yeah,
he did the best out of everyone, really.
Yeah, he did. Even better than Yuri. And this is why people thought Khalil was going to beat Yuri, because of how well he did against Alex.
It's just styles make fights. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah. Persian also says that I should wear a papaka the next time Islam fights. I might actually buy one from Amazon.
I'm potentially going to be out of the shrimp costume soon, hopefully. Because I have to wear it until Tai Tuivasa gets a win. And he's obviously fighting.
Oh, really?
325? Against...
So you think he's going to beat?
No. I think he's going to get fucked up and get knocked out in round 1. Okay. He's not winning.
So how are you going to get rid of the shrimp costume then? Does it's
heavyweight? It's heavyweight.
Does it also? Can you retire the shrimp costume if Tai gets cut or retires?
Yeah, if Tai gets cut or retires, I would do I would do it for a different fighter, where I would do like another won't be close, and I would say if blank loses, I will wear it until someone shit wins a fight. Okay. Well, like a Benil Dariush or like a Cheeto or something like that.
Well, I've done 2 wages of my beard on 2 different fights now, and both of them have hit. So I don't need to do a beard.
What was the other one? Would have been
Hamzat DDP.
Oh, okay.
And that was a risky one. That was a risky one.
I think looking back at that fight, I think if they rematch, I think it goes very different. I still think Hamzat wins, but I think a rematch would go very different.
I mean, unless DDP is like just learned elite wrestling, I just don't see how that even goes any different.
I think DDP is still so underrated. Like I see people nowadays still talk about Yuri. Like I think Hamzat's going to move up. Hamzat will move up. I know he will. DDP will win the belt back, and he will be middleweight champion for a long time again. He will.
Mm.
I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of his career, like, yes, he'll have the loss to Hamzat. I wouldn't be surprised if we call him the middleweight GOAT as like a hot take. Like if he can get, like if he can beat Brennan Allen, because he's still young, like a Brennan Allen and a Mavov, an MVP, like if he can get like 4 or 5 good middleweight wins, he's right up there.
Or I agree. This is the thing, when fighters lose, people just like forget about them. But DDP is like genuine. Oh yeah, and it's like I know there's gonna be people that are gonna be picking fucking like has Pratis JDM been made or is that rumored?
I don't know what is happening with JDM. It's Morales, it's Prates, it's Ian Gary, it's Shavkat. I'm just waiting to see what gets announced at this point and just see what they do and just go from there.
Yeah, well, I think, you know, these guys that just lose one fight to like elite guys, people just forget about them. I think DDP beats most people at middleweight, to be honest, if not like all of them. Just not Hamza. It's the same thing with Yuri. Yeah. I think Yuri beats everyone at light heavyweight apart from Alex. Like, just being real.
Even then, I think if they fought 10 times, I think Yuri catches him once.
Oh yeah,
just how awkward offbeat he is.
If they make the trilogy and Yuri wins, you will see me just. I don't even know what's going to happen. I might just.
I hope he stays at light heavyweight and fights Carlos Olberg and just improves his legacy and his resume. But I just can't see it. I think he's just going to go to heavyweight and fight Cyril
John Jones. I reckon.
If it's John, I'll be really fucked off. I'll be so angry.
Yeah, I reckon they might do like a catchweight John Jones Pereira BMF fight at like the White House or something dumb, and then Alex will retire. Probably.
Yeah. It's hard. I don't know what they'll do with the BMF belt because I think the winner of Max Charles is going to fight the winner of Benoit Dan Hooker, and I think Benoit is going to win. I think Max Holloway is going to win. And I think they'll do Max Holloway Benoit Saint-Denis at Madison Square Garden like November. That's my prediction.
So Benoit versus
So Benoit beats Dan Hooker. Max Holloway beats Charles.
Wait, I thought Dan Hooker was really good, bro. What?
No, Benoit is sneakily one of my favorite fighters. I love Benoit. I love Benoit. But I know what you mean. But I think
Benoit. Yeah, I think Benoit fucking. I think he does him quicker than Arman did. To be honest, just like
I think so as well. I was really worried about when Benoit was scheduled to fight Joel Alvarez. I was really worried about that before it got changed to was it Ludovic Klein? I can't remember who it was at UFC 315.
I can't remember
because he was scheduled to fight Joel Alvarez, and then Joel Alvarez pulled out, and then he fought. Oh, it was Kyle Prepelec. It was Benoit versus Kyle Prepelec. Hey,
Kyle looked pretty good in there, though. Kyle looked pretty good in there.
I don't know if Kyle Prepelec looked good or Benoit looked bad. Yeah, every time I watch that fight back, I don't know. But then he's gone out there and finished Benil in round 1 and scored Houfi, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Should we call it there?
Yeah, man. Well, yeah, I've
got all the time in the world.
I mean, I honestly would, but I have children that'll probably be awake. I have a 3-month-old that's probably going to be awake in about 1 hour. So,
damn,
go to bed. Yeah, man. I'm fucking two kid Bromo now, mate. 2-kid Bromo.
I'm still living at home in my room.
Or about how old are you though?
21.
Yeah, I'm 26. I'm 27 in August, so I'm nearly an unk, bro. Nearly an unk.
Shit.
Kind of. Damn. Right, well, we'll call it there. Thank you, War Horse, for coming out. Listen, bro.
Thank you for having me, bro.
I mean, look, we should do this more often. I'm
100%. I'm we disagree. We need to do this.
Not just for a debate, just for like a yap session, just to talk 100%. About shit. I mean, I'd be well up for that. I mean, if you guys want to want to see that. I mean, see more asses. Now the debate is over. This got wholesome as fuck. I mean, look, me and War Horse, we go back, man. I mean,
yeah.
You know, we talk a lot. We get on very well. But yeah, I'd be up for doing more of this. Just chill,
100%.
Chill streams. Talk about cards and shit like that. I enjoy streaming more with someone here because I'm not just talking to myself and text on the screen.
I get so bored, dude. It's so crazy how bored I get streaming on my own.
I'm just not doing fight companions no more. I don't enjoy them. I really don't enjoy them. Plus, in the UK, it's like 5 a.m. and I'm there like watching DDP and Hamzat going, "Oh, he's got down again." It's like, nah.
I'm still gonna do them because I prefer fight companions than just normal live streams.
I mean, I really enjoy going live and just yapping to everyone because it's always the same people in, and we have a good little community. But when I got someone else on, we go back and forth. It's definitely more fun. But yeah, we'll do this.
Yeah.
We'll do it. We'll do it again soon.
100%.
I would say for Volkan Lopez, but that's next week, so probably not. But we'll do one for
There'll be a weekend coming up that's free or something. There'll be something coming up.
Yeah, man. Right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for all the war. What are your fans called, bro? Do you have a name for it?
I don't even have a name, dude. I don't have a name.
The fucking Stallions.
It pretty much is, dude. It's like I'll open a video with like what's crack-a-lack and War Horse Stallion. That's kind of it.
I think they should be called the Stallions, mate. That's pretty cool.
I know. It might have to be the Stallions. It might have to.
Vex says it as well.
The Stallions. Vex goes best, so maybe it has to be the Stallions.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Stallions is pretty. I mean, it's a little bit cooler than bromosexuals.
Yeah, it is.
Right. Anyway, I am going to go now. Thank you for joining War Horse. Thank you all for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed the debate. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
All right.